know when the deal's done. Bobby Mack let us know. Ryan Stromey lost it twice. Drake from Manning was not nice. Two good picks, they went for Griff. Pete just had to go. Eric Greiber buyout, what was that all about? Miko signed a 3-year deal, and my friends, that ain't no steal. Traded for Spooner, shoulda canned him sooner. Chris Russell, Lucic, no movement on their deals. Pete left a tire fire. Bobby Nix is searching for the perfect person. Pete left a tire fire. Now it's tough to do well when you're stuck in cap hell.
As Sheldon said in the Nasty Chat this morning, how about them Toronto Blue Jays? Right, who wants to talk about the Lakers for 3 hours today? I do. We can certainly do that, right?
We got Canada West playoff action to preview here.
We do, and we got Canada West hockey. Golden Bears Huskies as well. We got a huge weekend coming up here. And, of course, a matinee. Your Edmonton Oilers against the Nashville Predators. I do notice we have another different logo back here today in the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Studio. I turn around, I notice it's more plain Jane, like there's nothing fancy in the words. I'm very aware as to what's going on back here. They all kind of look the same, but they're all just a little bit different. Nice job, Tube Socks and Matty Wanek for sneaking it in on us here. We are coming at you from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Studios, in case you couldn't tell. I'm not sure I would say for breakfast, get yourself a ghost pepper chicken sandwich, but at least put it on the radar for lunch today. DoorDash, Skip the Dishes, Uber Eats, drive-through, eat in, however you want to consume it. Go get it done at Popeyes. You can hit us up in the Nasty Chat, obviously, this morning. We will get to that. Save your Oilers got goal lead takes. I'm sick and tired of it. You've won 2 of your first 9 games. Take your goalie takes and shove them. Like, enough's enough. Wedgwood was good last night, faced a lot. A ton of it was from the perimeter, and the only Oiler that wants to go anywhere near the crease is the old guy that they just brought into the lineup. Sam Gagner last night basically showed the rest of us how little the Oilers work on a regular basis. We'll get to that as we work our way through the show. The inbox is already hopping, obviously. 780-218-9999. That is the Paris Jewelers inbox. Maybe if you're disappointed with 2 wins in their first 9 games, why don't you go cheer yourself up a little bit, right? Go in, get a little jewelry for yourself, get some bling, as cool people call it. It's Paris Jewelers, Canadian and family-owned, 23 locations across Canada. Flexible financing options available as well, including do not pay in-store for 1 year. If you were to peruse the mall or other stores right now, what starts popping up about now? Christmas stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say Santa's Village thing.
Well, that's going to start happening soon as well. Booking photos with Santa and all this stuff, which means it's time to start thinking about Christmas shopping. And if you're looking for jewelry this year, we are telling you Paris Jewelers is the place to be. One of you will win text of the day today. I'm sure it's going to be straight fire. That'll get you a gift certificate to A&W. Shout out to Tube Socks, who already slid into the inbox today with a picture of his A&W breakfast. And I'm sure it's delicious for him. I picked up, this is my first latte of the week. After another loss, I was like, boys, I got to get a latte to get me through a Friday, right? It's not Fry-yay, it's Fry Latte. Oh, and you're cracking packs still.
I
you pretty much have the set. What are you doing?
Might as well get a pair of packs for a Friday to kind of, rinse.
What's that big one we're searching? Ovi Gems or whatever?
I need a Ovi Ice Gems. That's the last one I need. And I got a few deals out for that one.
Oh, you're wheeling and dealing too.
I see Tube Socks out last night at the Central Casino Sports Bar and Lounge.
How was the rest of casino night last night?
It was hopping.
Yeah?
Lots of mayo flying around that place. Eh, boys?
Yeah.
Oh, if you know, you know. And that's the only way you know is to join me every Monday and Thursday night. Central Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, Central Casino Fort Road. Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football. Your chance to win a trip for 2 to L.A.
I do want a office-style documentary of you and, like, the main crew that are there every Monday and Thursday. You and Renee and the rest of the staff and Savage and Tube Socks and what Norman a Combine was yesterday.
It's really the cast has been cast. Like Rob, Norman a Combine, his wife, Tube Socks, Trevor Savage the plumber and his brother whom I met.
Yeah.
And then some other like well-wishers and not so well-wishers along the way that I've just kind of assembled as well.
Yeah.
It's a great
amazing.
Renee, the staff, the whole bit. Nigel Manager Nigel even popped by for a hello.
Well, that's
nice to see
great.
him again. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm missing anybody, I apologize. But and for all the people who there are a few that haven't shown up for a week or two. Just
Okay.
let us know if you're okay.
You said you guys
like
were a
to
little
check
bit
up
worried
on the
about what
crew.
Norma, the card maker.
Yeah.
See, like this is a character, Norma, who makes
she makes
cards at home. Like,
and I'm gonna be buying one. But I was supposed to be looking at some swatches yesterday, and she wasn't there. So
but not sports cards, greeting cards.
No, greeting cards, invitation type of thing. But I will be. But I where is she? I don't know. Get at me, Norma, if you if you're watching.
Yes, get at us, Norma, and let Eric know that everything is going to be A-OK. 780-218-9999. Obviously, I mean, Nasty Chat's going to be flying today, and the inbox is already taking a pounding. I love this one. Hey, boys, I set my alarm to tune in. We're on tune in. From Guanacaste, Costa Rica. Put it on the map.
Put it on the map.
No answers for the Oilers here. The locals are wondering how many goals Bouchard will give up this year. The over-under is around 140. That's in from Lingus this morning, who's chiming in from Costa Rica. I'm gonna throw a conch out down there. I think that's amazing. And, if we had the map ready, that's one that we could certainly put on the map. I like that. Nash is in already this morning. Says, I'll say it. What the hell is going on with McDavid and Draisaitl? We need more than what they brought last night.
Ooh, running them out of town, are we?
Well, they can't play together anymore. Like, not now.
The nuclear option has been exhausted.
Well, what happens here is usually those guys get broken up because nobody else is doing anything. This time, I think you have to split them up because I think they're just taking for granted that, we're together and we're going to work some magic. And that's not the way it works. So, I would say, like, McDavid's even strength production this year, or lack of it, is very shocking compared to what we've seen him do recently. So, we'll maybe get into that a little bit. There's a lot of fish to fry coming out of that game last night. So we'll get into that as we work our way through the show.
Better than last Thursday at this time, no? Or last Friday morning around this time. I mean, I'm just kind of
better. But at the same time, better don't cut it anymore if you're not delivering wins, right? Like,
I get it, but we knew this was a good team coming in last night. You're better than the Flames, but you're still not at that Stars, Rangers, whatever you want to call it level. They're still trying to get up there.
But they should be.
They should be, but you want to see.
They should be.
But they weren't. And so, I said results be damned. You do want to see some progress. Maybe a little bit going hard to the net. Gagne up here showing them what it's done. Like, I mean, it's something to chew out of it. As opposed to
single
nothing.
player on that team should be embarrassed with their work ethic so far this year after you see Sam Gagne play last night. Sam Gagne worked harder last night than any Oiler has worked in any game at any point this season. He was around the net more than any Oiler had been in any individual game this season. And this is not me exaggerating. This is just the truth. Like, nobody on the Oilers this season has gone to the net like Sam Gagne went to the net last night. Ended up getting rewarded for it. But Sam Gagne coming in and having a work ethic that just seems so much beyond everybody else so far this season is awesome for Sam, but also should be a huge wake-up call for the rest of these guys. Like, Sam Gagne in about 2 minutes last night showed more intensity than Ryan McLeod has showed in 140 National Hockey League games. If the rest of those bottom six guys at least can't bring it up to Gagne's level, and let's be real, if all of them can't bring it up to his level of effort, then you have no chance to do anything of significance this year. I'm not wrong. I mean, that's just God's honest truth. You're watching last night, you're like, oh, so this is how hockey players work hard. So shout out to Sam Gagne for his effort last night. We'll get into that as we work our way through the show. Morning after show coming up as well. Fergie's prostate is in and says, Dusty's fired up. He's going full Italian, talking with his hands. I'm usually a hand talker, but maybe not like this crazy right now.
You're doing that pen.
Yeah,
You're using
careful.
the pen quite a bit.
I'm going to poke your eye out today. I'm trying to make a point of it. We're going to break down what ended up being the game winner. And I tweeted out the video last night. You know, the fact that Bouchard just watches this glorious play develop is one thing. But I see other people say, oh, it's actually on this guy. It's actually on this guy. We need to stop babying Evan Bouchard here. You're a National Hockey League defenseman.
Gagne can't
Have
fix that.
some sort of awareness in your own zone defensively. So we'll get into that as we work our way through the show this morning. We will get into your morning after show. Basically, the whole 6 o'clock hour is going to be your text messages, a bunch of conches, and a morning after show. As we break this thing down, we'll have some post-game audio as well. And more of your text messages, 780-218-9999, and in the nasty chat. The rest of the show will look like this. Jam-packed Friday show. Very much looking forward to it. Let's see here. Mike Johnson's going to pop by just after 7 o'clock. We'll get his thoughts on what's going on. Also, the Vancouver Canucks. Man, the San Jose Sharks might be the worst team of all time. They are absolutely brutal.
That's what you do when you're tanking.
Yeah.
You know, tank on.
Cool Bet hotline of the day. We did hit our football parlay yesterday. Yep. That was nice. Will Levis and DeAndre Hopkins get it done. Mr. Lean, Mr. Lean.
I almost lost it on Mike Vrabel.
Did you?
Well, it was...
I like Mr. Lean losing it on Mike Vrabel.
Well,
and why Mike Vrabel should be scared.
They got the ball back, the Titans, and on 3 downs, they run the football. Like, this is with, 4 minutes to go in the football game or something. And then for the 4th down gamble, they just air one deep. Like, it was terrible selection. Like throw the ball at least once there. And this is when he was at 193.
Oh.
It was 7 yards away, 4th quarter. But they had 3 timeouts, so they got the ball back, and then ultimately he
ended up going way over. Yeah.
Way over. But at that moment, I was like, well, what if they don't get the ball back? I'm like, why are you running the ball 3 times here? And one was like this weird double sweep type thing. I was ready to lose it on Mike Vrabel if they lost. And we lost that parlay by 7 yards.
God. Welcome aboard the team, Maddie. Right? Like freaking out on NFL head coaches because they're screwing your parlay.
Well, it's not even that. It was stupid play calling just in general. If I'm a Titans fan, I'd probably be losing it.
Nothing on the line. Just
You're down right now. Go get the first down. Like, you just got to march this. You need a touchdown, dude. And you're running it 3 times, and a 4th down, you just send one deep. That's a 2nd down play, sending someone deep. But we hit it, so.
In the end, we got it done. I saw somebody text in today and say, boys, thanks for the EST parlay. First parlay I ever hit yesterday. So remember, stay cool, bet responsibly, bet within your means, but it does add a little bit of excitement to the games. Lock Shop yesterday hit our Lock Shop partner parlay on that football game as well, which was really nice. We had Jaylen Warren, 20 yards plus through the air, no problem. Derrick Henry, 70 yards plus on the ground, got it done. And I think we had a sack last night as well, and it ended up cashing too. So it's been a nice little week here with Edmonton Sports Talk and the Lock Shop and our partners at Cool Bet. Library Pat is in this morning. He says, I know most of the discourse and angst and anger today. I expected the result, so I'm less disappointed than many. Plus, I could only watch the last 30 minutes, so my impression was influenced more by Gagne than anything else. They'll put the boots to Nashville tomorrow. I'm optimistic going forward.
Yeah,
there you go.
I'm kind of taking more of his side than you're here, he's here. I'm kind of somewhere in here.
I mean, if you can only beat the Nashville Predators during the season, congratulations on your
That's where they're at right now. That's where they're at right now.
Awesome. You own the Nashville Predators. Congratulations on all your success.
What about puck luck and bounces last night? Any of that?
I listened to the whole bloody broadcast last night, and I love Jack and I love Louie. They're the best. I love both those guys. But if I have to hear any more about how it's not this – look, take advantage of your opportunities. Have some bloody finish. Just because you get a lot of shots in the third period because Sam Gonley finally gets your team trying a little bit – doesn't mean that, deserved better. When you win 2 of your first 9 games, we're done with these moral victories. It's not deserving better. Go out and earn better. It's as simple as that.
You tweeted it. Sam Gagne's, I think, one of his goals, crashes the net.
Yes.
That's getting your own bounces. That's creating your own luck. And the Oilers haven't done enough of that this season. They're a talented hockey team, but the effort's not there for them to earn those bounces.
You don't get the luck.
You don't get the luck. You don't get the bounces if you're not trying to go earn those. When you go and get into the paint on a regular basis, you're going to have a better chance of getting those bounces or having the luck and winning some hockey games and being able to string a second straight win this season through 9 games. It's like what Chris Joseph said on the Hangout last week. He said, this team needs to go out and win a 2-1 hockey game.
Yeah.
They just need to buckle down and win a tight hockey game by playing just a sound game all around, and they don't want to do that.
They're not able to do that.
So
even last year, what did they win? Like maybe 2-1 hockey game?
They don't do that.
They don't deserve breaks or lucky bounces right now because they're not trying to go earn those.
I thought it was just such a reality check that a 34-year-old guy coming off double hip surgery in the offseason was by far the standout in the game last night because of effort. Like, do you know what that says about the rest of the team when you watch Sam Gagner play last night and you go, wow, look at this guy work. Look at this guy be a pit bull on the puck. Look at this guy play the body consistently. Look how fired up this guy is to have success. I mean, it's a horrible look for the rest of the team. And everybody loves Sam Gagner, and last night's why. But it's a horrible look for the rest of the team when it's so clearly obvious that people should be able to work that hard all the time and have that kind of drive all the time. So maybe last night's example set by Sam Gagner starts to reverberate through the group, and you start to see everybody get their engine going at that level because they have to. They absolutely have to. Guys, the Oilers can do no better now than 3-6-1 in their first 10. I'd say it was time to panic if they went 3-7. So it's time to panic. Well, the whole early thing is out the window. It's November now. And at this point, they're no longer a contender. They're no longer go out and win the Pacific. At this point, the conversation is they're a playoff team. Like I watch them and they have McDavid and Draisaitl and Kane's been good lately. Thought Holloway had some jump last night. Derek Ryan had a little bit of jump last night. They are still a playoff team. I expect them to make a playoff team. But as of right now, with what we've seen so far this season, I don't expect them to do anything else. But I'd still expect them to be a playoff team. There has to be a better team in there somewhere. There just has to be. And I saw some people last night on the postgame be like, this looks like a team that doesn't want to play for a coach. Well, if that's the case, then trade every single player because you can't just keep rotating coaches through and then 18 to 24 months in be like, I'm not sure they want to play for this guy. Well, then who the hell do they want to play for? It doesn't make any sense. Just put Mac T on the bloody bench and go through the motions again. Like, I don't know. It's insane.
Or do you need a coach that's going to kick you in the butt? Like I'm not on the full board right now saying Jake needs to go. I just want to start
those
that.
Guys, right? Like Tippett would do that a little bit. Like Todd McClellan sometimes could be a little bit of a hard.
But a Gerard Gallant.
Nah.
He has a very short shelf life, but when he comes in, he takes a team far. He brings out the best. And right now, I'm not saying make that move, but if this doesn't turn around in the next 2 to 3 weeks, if we get to the end of this month. And this team still is struggling to pull together 3-4 consecutive good games together. What can you do to salvage this season? You can't do the straight-up trade everyone at that moment. You also, firing the GM that people want doesn't change anything in the season this year. A GM change doesn't change your fortunes on the ice. And the change is going to happen at the end of the season anyway. So what else could you do to potentially turn this around if this proceeds through the rest of this month? It would be that coaching change you would have to do. And there is that one coach out there that, again, has a very short shelf life. Straight up, Gallant does. But when he's there, he could take you a little higher.
I just think it's a free pass for a group that doesn't bring it. I mean,
but did you see
Woodcroft
Jay?
cannot be the sacrificial lamb.
Did you see Jay yesterday speak after the game?
No, I only watched.
He looks a little bit like a guy who doesn't have an answer.
Scrabble face.
Maybe he would have an answer if he could bring guys in and out of the lineup.
Well,
like, I'm sorry, like this is not
going down to 10 men yesterday because they only have 11.
It's not Jay Woodcroft's fault that Ken Holland has horrible cap management. And you can say, well, some of the cap management issues stemmed from the show. No. Ken Holland had a chance to reset this group financially now. He has. He blew it financially. He's put some really good pieces in place, but you're a head coach, Jay Woodcroft, and you don't have a chance to make choices. You don't. Like, imagine a real National Hockey League team can look there and go, well, we got these two forwards. We could put one of those guys in, kind of move some things around. These guys got to roll out basically 11 forwards every single bloody game. So, I mean, that too does not fall on Jay Woodcroft. So, I don't know. Where do you come out on this? Hit us up in the nasty chat, 780-218-9999. Tell your friends about Edmonton Sports Talk. Many people out there still don't know we exist. Word of mouth would go a long way. And just say, if they're like, oh, it's very difficult going to a website and all this stuff, just tell them to download free TuneIn app, and they can listen crystal clear, static-free every single morning. Did I even lay out the full show yet? I feel like I got to Mike Johnson, and then I was just like,
continue with the hour.
Circled back around. Like, cool bet hotline of the day. I do want to, we got to set up the CFL playoff games this weekend. We'll get into that. Local spin for United Sport and Cycle. We'll go there as well. What are the double dip of Golden Bears Huskies over the weekend? Hockey and football.
You're seeing a lot of green.
Why not?
Get to the hoops
Why
as
not?
well.
Greg Wyshynski, who completely jinxed the Oilers by picking them to win the Stanley Cup. He's going to be by at 7:45 today. Kind of easy trivia from Mr. Mike's. 3 questions too many for Park Mazda. Going to try to connect with P. Greggy today. I know he'll be on the lock shop with us. We'll see. We might be able to get Pat. I got to fire him back a text at some point. And then Sobeys and Safeway Liquor Beer of the Week as well. And who is going to need a drink today? Scott Laurie, probably. He's a huge Oilers fan. When he comes in. He'll definitely need a drink. 780-218-9999. I've just kind of been ranting here so far this morning. Any thoughts? Like, we're going to get into the morning after show coming up right away, but anything that jumps off the page for you last night? I know you're doing double duty. Hockey game is on there too.
No. We had all the hockey going. We had all the football going as well, and all the screens were taken up with lots of action at the Central Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. I'm just not as on fire. I got to say, and I said I was kind of in the middle between you and the other texter saying so. I just go back to last Thursday, shut out by the Rangers, outplayed, just no whatsoever, no nothing from anybody. Yeah, Gagne carried a bit last night. I think Kane's been turning on. You go back to the Heritage Classic as well. This is a game last night too where it finishes 4-3. It's tight. They're peppering. They're getting. I know the shot quality. You can argue maybe perimeter and all that, but near the end, I mean, they were peppering. Wedgwood was making good saves, and then he was letting in garbage goals. And I think last night is you see a good team playing well with a good record and a good start. They win those games. The Oilers haven't had a good start. They're not playing well. You're not going to get, as Matt said, you're either not working to create those chances, or you're snake bit right now. You are not playing well, and the bounces don't go your way. That's how it happens. And last night in a 4-3 hockey game, that's what happened. But I mean, if you dial this back and we see what they brought tomorrow afternoon against Nashville, I know it's Nashville again, so you're going to be like, well, it's just wins against the Preds and the Flames. But I think you have to see something start to build. It was a terrible start, and you can't just flip the switch, as this team sometimes does with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, which you'd like to see a bit more last night. I understand that. There are a lot of gripes from the game, but I will say, dating back to last Thursday again and trying to view some sort of, zoomed out progress, Kane's playing better. The defense, I still think that's Gagne is not fixing the defense, right?
No.
And
no.
mistakes
I mean,
made
he
on
could
there.
teach
Maybe
Bouchard how to try hard.
I just think that there's things to build off from Sunday. You have that big time off till Thursday. They show up, they lose by 1 goal to a really good team. I'm not as mad as if they were to get shut out again last night or just not have anything at all to discuss. Kane's been playing well. I know Gagne's not going to be doing that every night. There's no way to expect
He's not going to score 2 goals every night, but he'll work hard every single night.
And again, calling him up here and having him figure things out and put guys on blast, maybe that's what the group needs now to move forward. And so I'm kind of giving a little more space and time for this thing to unravel and get going, because we've seen in the past this team, with the firepower they have, they can kind of turn it on and crack off 6 in a row or whatever to get out of this.
The Dallas thing, like last night,
but the Connor Brown thing too, and that's going to be a
well.
Ernie
We'll see
how.
We'll see how that. We got to figure out exactly what's going on there.
That's going to be a mess.
But they were in a spot where they should have won that game last night. Dallas was playing their 3rd game in 4 nights. The Oilers hadn't played in 3 days. That alone should have been a significant advantage, and they weren't able to take advantage of it. So let's dive into our morning after show. 780-218-9999, or, of course, you can hit us up in the nasty chat this morning. But, let's dive into the morning after show.
Being a fan of the Oilers today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to have your say? It's a morning after show where we will talk about the game and let you know who you should blame. You want a show where you will know if the problems are still the same. You want a show every morning after the game. You want a show so people know if the problems are still the same. You want a show every morning after the game.
All right, 6:26, the morning after a loss to the Dallas Stars, a loss that Sam Gagner tried to drag the team back into making it a win, but was unable to do so. The morning after show is brought to you by EM Utility Locating. I was exchanging emails with Matt last night there, and he said they love the one that ended up winning text of the day. That was like, if you're digging a hole like the Oilers, make sure to call EM Utility Locating. So they might actually use it in some social media stuff.
Oh, now's the time. Strike while the iron is hot, right?
I think it works out pretty well. You got to look at it at a number of different levels. If you're doing anything that involves anything underground, have EM Utility Locating help you. They can help you plan it. They can make sure it's safe. It's all taken care of. www.emutilitylocating.com. That's emutilitylocating.com. If you got to know where the bodies are, and I'm sure Oilers management has a few buried somewhere, you can get it all done with EM Utility Locating. All right, let's get to your EST big moment that happened. What are you going with, Rick?
I'm just going to go for the final couple minutes. And the Oilers buzzing around Wedgwood's net. Again, 49 shots on goal. You can argue maybe not all high quality, high danger, et cetera, but I think, one squeezes through, one little area. You're taking this thing to overtime. You're getting a point out of this. I think the temperature, slightly gets turned down a bit this morning. So I think in the last final minutes and failing to tie the game, and again, with Sam Gagner providing those two, in the third, and you get the place bumping a bit. I mean, you had the momentum there. You had a bit of good thing going. Failing to tie it up late, I'm going to go with that moment. It was buzzing in the final couple minutes. If they at least drag that thing to overtime, you could argue a bit more progress. But again, and as people are saying last year, hands up. Loss is a loss at this point. I'm not arguing that at all. But again, final 2 minutes, you squeeze one in there, get another garbage goal or something like that, and you get a point out of this thing, and maybe the temperature and thermostats turn down a bit.
The problem is that if they didn't have critical defensive errors or neutral zone errors or bad decisions, they wouldn't have needed to scramble for a last-minute goal, right? Cece, horrible pinch. Broberg just completely flubs it, basically was benched after that. I'm not sure the development of Broberg is worth running shorthanded up front all the time. I mean, it might be time to have the extra body be a forward.
For everybody involved.
Well, it's just that was a tough look. And then there's the Bouchard thing. Maddie, can we bring up, I want to get, and now look, I had a lot of people try to basically blame a bunch of different people on this goal. But let's just break this one down, because this ended up being the game winner after Sam Gagner's heroics a little bit later on. But let's just take a look at how this thing develops. This is a goal that, I mean, Bouchard's awareness and effort here just simply aren't good enough. Okay, you're going to see the puck come out of the zone here, and then all the way. Now, there's Connor McDavid. He gets on his horse. Draisaitl is watching from way back. He's not going to make a play on anything. So it's basically a 3-on-2 with McDavid. Just stop it there. So McDavid kind of got stuck in no man's land a little bit, because he was sort of looking, maybe he would go for Rupe Hintz, but he wasn't going to get there. So then he kind of watched the puck go over to the far side. So McDavid commits there as well. And then you see Ekholm kind of turning now. Would have been nice if he could have stopped it. But can you back it up just a little bit, Matty? Let's just watch Bouchard here. So Bouchard comes out wide to kind of force the issue with the puck carrier. Okay, keep it going. Sorry for people listening right now. If you've watched this goal, you know what we're talking. Okay, run it now. So we're coming back up the ice. Bouchard's going to come over, follow the puck carrier, and he kind of comes over to sort of force the issue there. At the blue line, gets his stick out, doesn't block the pass, and then watch. He doesn't skate again from here. He just guides. He glides the rest of the way in. and he's watching the play as opposed to finding out where the danger is. And the danger is Roope Hintz skating right down the middle of the bloody ice, right past him. Like, Bouchard, put a stick on Roope Hintz. What are you doing? I just cannot believe that a National Hockey League defenseman. So there are other issues there. I saw one guy say, oh, they left Bouchard hung out to dry, and McDavid's got to pick up this guy, McDavid's got to pick up this guy. But the bottom line is, even if there was, a couple of things that could have been done better there, it all could have still been stopped by Bouchard simply doing something, anything. How you can turn and not it's technically an odd man rush. It's a 3-on-2. How you can turn after that puck goes to the far side and not take a stride or identify the danger is mind-boggling to me. I don't understand how an NHL defenseman plays that play that way. I don't get it. I don't understand how you can have that little of oomph in a hockey game. Like, do you not see Roope Hintz coming right down the bloody gut? And you're just focused on watching the play? That's not, then how's he not being coached better? I mean, even if it's not in his DNA to have defensive awareness, how have you not been coached at some point over the last 3 years that, hey, if there's a dude who's driving to the front of your net, pick him up. So I don't get it. Like, since the disaster of a game for Bouchard a few games ago, he's actually been pretty good. Like, he's kind of flown under the radar a little bit. It's provided some offense, which is what he does. But you just can't have that play be acceptable in any way, shape, or form. Ryan Finley is in and says maybe his legs are broken. Well, I mean,
the Draisaitl theory.
How do you not turn around and immediately go, okay, so I didn't stop my guy. Puck's over there. I'm going to turn, find out what I have to do next. Instead, he just sort of watches the play in the corner and does nothing. And it happens with him or another defenseman pretty much every single game. There's these boneheaded errors. That's somebody in the chat last night on the post-game show, and we do have live pre- and post-game here at Edmonton Sports Talk. Somebody's like, man, I would have liked to see Skinner make a better play in the fourth one. Are you kidding me? What the hell is Stuart Skinner supposed to do on the fourth goal last night?
I think we'd mention his name at all this morning. I did.
If Mike Smith was in net last night on that goal and it went in, Mike Smith would have got up and immediately went over and put Evan Bouchard in a headlock, ripped off his helmet, and started giving him a noogie on the ice. Because that's just completely unacceptable. It just, until that type of stuff gets cleaned up, I don't care if your power play goes for 40%. You will never win anything.
Well, 0 for 4.
Yeah. Look, go to the Golden Bears game this weekend. The Golden Bears play 2 games this weekend. You will not see that play. Like, the Golden Bears defenseman will not allow a guy to go to the front of their net like that. It just won't. I guarantee it. I'll give you $1 million if you go to the Golden Bears games this weekend and they go, wow, Dusty, the exact same play happened. They don't happen because Ian Herbers has got them with the proper sense of defensive awareness and intensity that they wouldn't allow a guy to skate straight down the middle of a 3-on-2 and get to the net. That's all I had to say about that. All right, do we have some post game? Who do we got? Let's dive into it. Yes, Jay Woodcroft. Here we go. Let's see what Woody had to say.
What would the level of concern be after another loss like today?
Well, we're disappointed that we lost the game. I thought it was a pretty competitive first period. I think we made some errors in the second period that led us to falling behind in the game, chasing the game. We made a really strong push in the third period, but when you spot a really good team that type of lead, it's tough to come back. 99 shot attempts, 50 on net, all that kind of stuff is, that's nice. But when you spot a good team, a lead like that, usually you don't end up on the right side of it.
the sense is that this is a good team and they'll figure it out and everything will be fine. But you also need to see it, and it's getting close to 10 games in. When do you start to worry that this might be who they are?
Well, I don't share your level of worry or concern, but our record is what our record is. I saw some good signs. I've seen some things in some players, improvement in players. I saw a team working very, very hard to try and make amends for falling behind, but ultimately we shot ourselves in the foot tonight. We're taking it one day at a time. We are taking it one game at a time, and we're looking to take a step here. If we'll carefully review this game. We'll go over every inch of it, and we're going to give our team something to help us improve heading into the next game. We're looking to win that next game and win a game here in the best building in the National Hockey League.
Jay, all the guys in the room were talking about how the Dallas Stars counterattack the rush was such a focal point of your out. What went awry in that regard tonight?
Well, I would say on our first goal, we ended up below the puck, and it was a misread on a pinch. It's a mistake, and we were made to pay. They had a 2-on-1, and they shot it in the net. The second goal, I would say that it was a puck management issue where at the end of a shift we spent a few minutes in the offensive zone. We're trying to get a line change. We go to our backhand and we turn it over. Ends up in the back of our net on a quick up transition. Third one was a penalty kill off the rush, and the fourth one was a rush that we'd like to play differently on the way back. That's what that team does. Is majority of their goals this year have come off the rush. In the end, we didn't do a good enough job, and they made us pay.
What goes through your mind as a coach when you put that emphasis on the game plan and the mistakes kind of?
Coaches are in it with our players. Nobody's trying to make a mistake. But in the end, the way it's going right now, when you're in the muck, kind of to Rob's question, when you're in the muck, those things end up in your net. We're going to take those learning moments and use them, but certainly we will pound on a lot of the positives in the game as well.
Jay, Sam Gagner got 2 goals in the third period. Did you think of playing a hunch and also playing him in the last minute or so?
I did, yeah. He was the next player up for us. We didn't get a whistle or an opportunity to change because we were in the offensive zone, but he was the next player up. And he played a very good game for us. I think it's a good lesson for some guys that haven't scored in a long time to see where Sam had his offensive success tonight, right around the blue paint. It's a credit to him. He played a good game, and yes, he was the next man up.
And when Brown got hurt, you're already only dressing 11 forwards, so you're basically...
We were only able to dress 11 forwards.
You're down to 10.
Yeah.
When he got dressed, that's a long way to play the game when you only have 10 forwards.
Yeah.
To jockey people around.
Yeah, I thought we moved people around pretty well, but essentially at that point it becomes a 3-line game. And, I think we got 6.5 minutes out of Brown, something like that. But at that point it becomes a 3-line game, and you're doing whatever you got to do to try and find a little chemistry, and we were able to find that in the third period, something to build on heading into tomorrow.
Jay, you talked about with your power play, it's not always how many, but sometimes when and time. And that second period, Bouchard, I don't know if it was 2 or 3 posts in one sequence. It's not like they're doing it wrong, but what do you need to see more from your power play to get that key goal to key time?
Yeah, you nailed it. I think we hit either 2 crossbars in 1 post or 3 posts or, something along those lines. When you're rolling, those drop for you. When you're not rolling, they go off the bar and they're out. What do we have to do? I think there is another level to our execution. We talk in the coach's office. That's when your great whites kind of feed is at that time. And right now, it's not that it's been poor. It hasn't been poor, below average, or anything like that. It just hasn't been yet to our standard of execution. You mentioned the big moments. I thought that was a critical part of our game today. was, finding a goal on the power play when we're down 2-on-1. I thought that would have been huge for us. It didn't drop. And in the end, we lost by 1 goal today.
Connor Brown was off a face-off. It was a non-contact. It looked like he just took 2 steps. And what can you tell us about it?
I haven't gone back and dealt with the medical staff, but it looked muscular more than anything.
All right, there you go. That is Jay Woodcroft's post-game courtesy Oilers TV last night. Few things coming out.
You had
of
a
that.
few points.
I had a few notes that I made along the way. So we'll get into these as we work our way through the EM Utility Locating morning after show. First of all, how about Rob Tychkowski? We are huge Titch guys here at Edmonton Sports Talk. Not only was he firing some questions out there yesterday, he tweeted last night. Rob Tychkowski, who hasn't tweeted in forever, tweeted last night.
Are we bringing it back?
I don't know. I quote tweeted and was like, yes, please, because he said, if this keeps up, I'm going to have to start tweeting again. I was like, what? So that was something to keep tabs on coming out of it. Is Tychkowski finally going to be back on Twitter? You heard Jay Woodcroft in there when they were talking about having to cut it down to 10 forwards. He said, we were only able to dress 11. And this sounds like a coach who would like to have
strong words,
full lineup and options to actually dress other players at certain times, but he can't because his management team has so poorly managed the cap that they are literally up against it and there's zero wiggle room.
But you can't do anything about it, right? So it's no use talking about it.
Yeah, I mean,
we know this. Okay,
it sucks for him to be in that spot.
Absolutely, it does.
And now I'm not giving him a free pass on all this stuff.
But
he kind of said it's on the coaches just as
Sam
much.
Gagner can't fix that.
I will say this though. Matty was asking that question, and he could have just left it because he was going to go, there's yet 11 forwards, how tough is it to go to 10? And he made a point to say that wasn't my call.
Yeah.
That's a shot. That's a little bit of a shot at Ken Holland. And is there a little disconnect going on between those two right now?
Well, when you're a coach and you're not provided with a full roster, I think yes. I mean,
you'd feel
right, but also if there's a good disconnect, you could sometimes take that for the team, or you just leave it. Because it's not like Matty was saying it's your fault. You decided to go 11, forwards. He made a point to point out that was management that did that.
Dun, 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 dun. Also, excellent Shark reference. Make a note there. When he was asked about the power play, he said, that's where your great whites, the great whites feed. That's awesome. From now on, when that power play has success, the show after, the next morning on our show, my goodness, the great whites were feasting last night.
Kind of toothless right now.
That's amazing to me.
The dorsal fin has been ripped off. There's no, when they feed, we can discuss.
I did not expect a great white sharks reference on the post-game show, but ladies and gentlemen, we got it, which I'm pretty happy to see. All right, super stat of the night. What does jump off the page for you, Rick?
The Gagner goals, I guess. His stat line, 5 shots, 3 hits. He was great in the dot. Everything you wanted last night from him. I think Wedgwood, again, standing tall in net as well. I'm going to give him a little bit of credit. But it's Sam Gagner's stat line for the night. You can pick the goals. You can pick the whole line if you want. Marvelous. I know we were discussing yesterday, expectations, everything. Oh, maybe, a little bit of leadership, a little bit of a confident. Did you see the whites in his eyes sitting on that bench after the?
Sam Gagner looked like a shark in the middle of a freezing.
He didn't blink. He didn't blink. I mean, he's possessed. It's great.
Tell me the last time an Oilers forward played 13 minutes in a hockey game and had an impact like that.
Cobbled together
so many times we look at these guys who play 10, 11, 12 minutes and we go, oh, what type of impact can you make in 10, 11, 12 minutes? Well, Sam Gagner showed you last night that you can make the most impactful effort of the evening playing just 13 minutes if you go out and actually play hard during your 13 minutes. Sam Gagner, unanimous super stat of the night, 2 goals, +2, 5 shots, 3 hits, and 100% effort.
And as far as stats go, 25 shots in the third for the Oilers too, which I do believe matches a team record. I mean, that's you got to pause and look at that as well for a second. Again, one of those goes in, the conversation maybe takes a bit of a turn.
Yeah, except it didn't.
I know.
They've got 2 wins in the first 9 games.
Right? I understand that. But
And
it's better than getting shut out 3-0.
no, that's true. But if they could get 50 shots every single night, but if Cody Ceci makes a bad pinch and Skinner lets in a bad goal, that's not going to help. Broberg can't handle the puck in the neutral zone. That's going to kill you. And then the whole breakdown on the 3-on-2 with Bouchard and whoever else you want to blame on that goal. Like,
we were fine
these
with
things continuously happen.
But we were fine with them outscoring mistakes, right? Oh, they're just going to score more goals, and that would be good.
Well, and that's what they always did.
That's what they always did, but they can't do that right now. And so,
which is kind of like last night watching them, you're like, oh, they're going to tie it late and then win it in overtime and everything's going to be fine. When you make these significant errors like this, it shouldn't be fine. Like, that's just another, oh, look what they managed to pull it out because they can score goals. That doesn't lead to a Stanley Cup championship in the playoffs. We've seen this.
But we've relaxed into thinking that could be a path.
Yeah.
Oh, they can do that.
Yeah.
That's the way to go. Well, now you see it. When aspect or area of that dries up, you're going to get figured out.
3 stars last night. Sam Gagner, Rupe Hintz, Joe Pavelski with a goal and 2 assists. Hintz had 2 goals and assists. Gagner 2 goals. 4th star of the game?
Kane. I could have an argument for Fogle. But I'm going to give it to Evander Kane.
I think Wedgwood
as well.
Slide in there
but
too.
again, like even the goals Wedgwood led into, like it was a mistake. The Stars made mistakes as well. And I guess going on a topic here, if they didn't make some of the mistakes they made as well, this whole thing, it's not as tight as it is. But I'll go from an Oilers point of view, and I'll go with Evander Kane, playing really well. Again, carrying that from the Heritage Classic as well into the Thursday.
38th star of the game last night. Brutal turnover in the neutral zone. Didn't even end up getting to play 6 minutes. I guess we can say Broberg had a negative impact and then have a chance to have a positive impact after that. Essentially a negative factor, even beyond a non-factor in that hockey game. So kind of by default last night, even though you can look at Cody Ceci, you can look at Bouchard and others making mistakes, Broberg's just inability to have any sort of impact on the game after that kind of limits him the rest of the way. Your EM utility locating Steady Eddie of the evening, or as we like to call it, the Brett Kulak Award. He had an assist. He was +1. Gave you 12 and a half minutes. Wasn't involved in any glaring mistakes defensively.
Here's to you, Eddie Kulak.
Steady Eddie Kulak. Congratulations. You're your EM utility locating Steady Eddie of the evening. Your thoughts on the game, 780-218-9999. Let's dish out a conch here for people this morning. Hey, boys, I'll be heading from Kelowna to Revelstoke for a U13 hockey tournament later this morning. Can't wait to munch some data and listen. Can I get a good luck conch for the Kelowna U13 Rockets? Brian, soon to be in a truck. Nom, 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 nom. And most importantly, safe travels. That'll do it for your EM Utility Locating morning after show. Visit them at emutilitylocating.com for any sort of underground work that you need to do. They're your crew. Help you plan it, keep it safety, help you execute it. Get it done at EM Utility Locating. Fogle is the new Todd Marchant. So much speed, but hands of stone. That went in from VR Montenegro this morning. Zulu is in and says, we can hope for a wild card at this point. We are not catching Vegas. Now, the catching of Vegas will take a really nice run by the Oilers and obviously Vegas to stumble somewhat significantly. Problem here is that the Kings are really good. Again,
you can catch Vancouver first.
Vancouver Canucks are really good. I mean, at this point, the Oilers have to catch the Ducks.
Yeah.
That's
one thing
how
at a time.
Bad the start has been. Still, Calgary and San Jose are the only teams in the league that are worse than they are so far.
But they're whipping the Preds tomorrow. No? That's what's happening.
Well, this
here, right?
is what's going to happen. They're going to crush the Nashville Predators. Draisaitl's going to have a hat trick. And then we'll think for a second, they're back, baby. And then we'll once again wait to evaluate to find out if they actually are. That's what happens here, right, guys?
You hit the road in Vancouver Monday night. Again, that Canucks team we're talking about. You then visit the Sharks Thursday, and you visit the Kraken Saturday. So getting something, that Nashville game again, you got to go out and exercise whatever it is and do the business tomorrow before.
I'm 100% betting Oilers minus 2.5 against the San Jose Sharks. That's already locked. If Coolbeck can get that up for us, I'll lock that in right now. The Vancouver game is extremely interesting.
Monday night, 8 o'clock.
Because you get this Vancouver team that already beat you twice and then has actually looked significantly better than you since. This is your chance to go in there and actually raise a little hell. You know what I mean? Like, to go up against the Canucks, raise a little hell.
Bold statement.
Here's an issue for tomorrow with this team. They do own the Nashville Predators, but they do tend to struggle in matinees.
Oh, yeah.
Well, don't give me the matinee excuse tomorrow. Like,
I'm just
The old Ducks
I
home game
understand.
last
I get
season,
it.
eh?
I'm not going to sit here and just think that this is going to be an easy win right now for the Edmonton Oilers because it's the Preds. Because they also have historically shown they do struggle in these earlier games.
if they lose to the Preds to go 2-7-1 in their first 10,
they can't.
Smoley hoax.
They can't and they won't. You just can't.
Woodcroft. This is in from Up Late Nate. 6:51. You're up that late? Must be a night shift guy. Woodcroft, quote, I don't share your level of concern. Perhaps that's part of it, if not the cause of Bouchard's lack of concern or intensity. Woodcroft says, we've got some guys who are learning. Really, dude? This is the NHL, bro. How long are they expected to learn common sense when it comes to simple coverage? Learning what exactly? Consistency? My eyes see consistency all right. Consistently inconsistent. I mean, good God, where is this guy's urgency? Up Late Nate, pounding the box today at 780-218-9999. Barbershop Window says, is anyone talking about Connor McDavid not playing to his level so far this year? We were going to get to that a little bit as we work our way through the show today. The even strength level of production has been a little strange, I think, so far. Now, look, McDavid supposed to be out 1 to 2 weeks. Missed a couple of games. Got him back out there for the Heritage Classic outdoor game. It's going to be fun.
He's going to play. You can't rest
3
him for
days
that.
off. And you could make the case here that he's not 100% clearly. But we should be past the point of making excuses for everybody on this group. Connor McDavid right now is 6th on the team in even strength points so far this year. I don't think those words would have ever come out of my mouth. Now, I'm assuming that he will go nuclear at some point and put up 30 points over 13 games and get himself back into the conversation for the Art Ross Trophy and all that fun stuff. But Connor McDavid right now has 9 points in 7 games and has 4 even strength points in 7 games.
Same amount of goals as Sam Gagner.
And it only has 2 goals, which is the same amount of goals as Sam Gagner. He has the same amount of even strength points as Warren Fogle. Zach Hyman has 8 even strength points. That's double what McDavid has so far. So, yeah, Connor McDavid has not come out of the gate red hot by any stretch of the imagination. And on the play last night that we ripped Bouchard for earlier this morning, and his lack of, hey, do something on an odd man rush is still completely unacceptable. On that back check, McDavid took a couple quick strides, then got to the blue line and coasted for just a second and a half. And in that second and a half, if he would have just kept moving, he could have either picked up Rupe Hintz, who was flying by into the net, or maybe got to the guy who received that pass a little bit quicker. It's just that little thing where it's like, go, 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 as opposed to go, go, wait, evaluate, go, and then it's too late. So, yeah, I think you could fairly say that something has been off with Connor McDavid so far this year. When you look at Bouchard, Kane, Draisaitl, Hyman, and Fogle having more goals than him so far this season, and he has the same amount of goals as Sam Gagner, who has played 1 game so far.
13 minutes.
We'll. I'm sure that comes around at some point, but 4 even strength points for McDavid in 7 games is. It's a little crazy. And we'll see if he can get that going.
How about this? It won't be an easy game because everyone's screaming, oh, they own the Preds every time you watch. There's that, but also the afternoon they usually suck thing as well. I'm not feeling great about it, RBM. And maybe that does bleed into the overall picture of before the season. Oh, Stanley Cup contender parade routes and all this, there is a tendency to overthink these things, I think, from this group sometimes and get a little comfortable and get inside their heads. And, again, what we're thinking of as what should be a walk in the park tomorrow and what usually is against the Predators with the climate as it is now, maybe won't be so easy. And as Maddie pointed out, too, you stack it above with a matinee on a Saturday prior to an important road trip. It might be a little teeth grinding down there tomorrow afternoon at Rogers Place, eh? Right now, nothing's for sure.
A hot ticket. A hot
Saturday
ticket.
afternoon against the Preds. That's what.
All of a sudden, congratulations. You've created a hot ticket.
Hot ticket.
Between the Nashville Predators and the Edmonton Oilers. Huntorio Momes sliding into the Paris Jewelers inbox today. This is 100% Ken Holland's team. At what point does 2J finally make a call and start to mold it into what he wants, or does that not happen all year? They still haven't replaced Larson. CC is a third D-man on any Cup team. First of all, I do like Jeff Jackson being referred to as 2J or J squared. Hey, there's some fun
2J.
things you can have there.
2J. Yeah.
Look, what are you supposed to do? Honestly, what are you supposed to do? You have zero wiggle room. Who or what are you involving in a blockbuster to try to turn things around? The bed has been made. You lay in it now. Maybe you kick the covers around a little bit, untuck them for a while, have some free flow. But the bed's made, man. The bed has been made. There's not a trade that saves the season. This is a group of players that are missing some pieces from last year, but have all of the key contributors that helped them look amazing down the stretch last year. They're getting better goaltending, in my opinion, than they did last year. And they're sitting here with 2 wins in their first 9 games. Guys, a better game last night, but they still took the L. Dallas always seems to bury their chances on the Oilers. McDavid and Draisaitl haven't looked great, but we all know they'll come around. Kane has been a beast. Too bad we can't use Bouchard like a lacrosse game, only on the ice in the offensive zone and then on the bench in the defensive zone. The offensive, defensive bench there.
Yeah.
Slide him in and out. An interesting way to think. Now, with that being said, maybe you don't roll him out there for 25 minutes like he did last night. Bouchard played 25 minutes last night. He's probably not in a spot where you need to be heaping 25 minutes on him, or is he capable of doing 25 minutes?
You don't need to be in a spot where you're heaping.
Guys, do you think the Cup or bus talk is too much pressure for the players on the wake of their start, or motivated the opposition? That's from Cal in the park. They too were in the Cup or bus talk. Like, that's not just a media thing and not just a fan thing. I mean, I'm pretty sure Leon Draisaitl said that somewhere along the way.
But it's just again, it goes back to the start too, and there was just this lackadaisical. Oh, we'll be fine. We got him right where we want him. Getting beaten the opener and then getting beaten at home. Yeah, we got this thing. We're in control. Like, just that whole attitude, it didn't really hit with me early on. Yeah, if people are calling you a Cup contender, you got to go out and prove it. You got to go out, have a laser focused workman-like attitude towards the whole project, the whole goal of whatever you've set out to do. But to just kind of laugh it off early on, well, no, that's not what Cup contenders do, in my humble opinion.
This text is in and says, post-game F-bombs 3, Oilers wins 2. What in the HE double hockey sticks? I'm going to just throw this out there. You can say the F word as many times as you want. It's not going to get you back in the win column. You know what I mean? I don't know why all of a sudden this year the Oilers, everybody's just swearing in their post games. Ooh, you're really frustrated because you're swearing. Doesn't impact anything one way or the other. And to be honest with you, this might be a really hot take, but to me, the swearing almost comes across as a bit of an arrogance so they can say whatever they want. Because for the most part, National Hockey League players in their post games and coaches in their post game don't swear. No matter how frustrated they are, they realize that, that's not going to fly. So, I don't know. Maybe that aspect of it together
kind of beyond the 2023, like we kind of, like, is swearing still like a, you know what I'm saying? I get it, but I just,
it kind of is, though.
I get it in that regard, but kind of to your point, when I hear it now, I don't think you're kind of blanketing over something like it's an excuse. If you hear a swear trot, no, it's not because of just raw emotion. To your point, I'm just thinking like, no.
Yeah, but there are places to swear, there are places to not swear. You know, like
I know.
Still the
and
way
when you're trotting it out and it's clearly not, and you're kind of using it as a blanket.
Like
or
if
a
Marshall
cover,
watches
I
Evander Kane's post game, I don't want him to see Evander Kane.
Oh no! From a kid point of view, but
yeah.
I'm just saying if they're trying to if the swearing is trying to illustrate that we're
frustrated.
I ain't
Like,
buying
that's what I
it,
mean,
man.
like-
Like you can't just swear and then that gives you this stock of we're really concerned now. It kind of does the opposite for me, really.
Surveyor,
I've heard them all before. I don't really care.
Surveyor Brett actually clipped this for us yesterday and just hit us up. Oilers post-game shows on Edmonton Sports Talk after a loss.
I can sniff that all day.
I can sniff that all day. This is a Gager
Yeah,
clip.
I can sniff.
Why is that not playing properly?
Yeah, I can sniff that all.
I can sniff that all day. It's supposed to be the clip.
That was a great clip,
Yeah,
actually. as soon as
it was.
Brett,
That was a great hangout
dug
yesterday,
up.
actually.
Yes.
How good it, like Grimes was looking for a job, man. Like he was really good yesterday. I checked it out in the afternoon yesterday. He was really good.
can find an office
Who's
for
on
him
the
around here,
hangout
eh?
today, Maddie?
Dan Barnes from Post Media and Brian Cheeseman, who's what's the official title with the Elks?
Coolest guy ever.
Well, there's that.
He's their glue guy.
I bet he'd be.
Cheese
the
is
glue
definitely a glue guy.
You'd be there, like, yeah, if you had to-
Cheese. Name the movie. Do you know that movie? You don't know that movie?
Road to Avonlea.
Man, you don't know the cheese.
Should I?
Yes.
Jurassic Park.
You should. No, not Jurassic Park.
Jeez.
His official title is Director of Sports Medicine and Rehabilitation
Oh
for
my
the
God.
Smart title.
Way too big. He's a trainer, right? Like,
He's
nothing against
Well,
cheese, but
he's the head-
Please bring him on to that, Maddie, when you introduce him.
Oh, yeah, that's his title on the web.
Yes,
Director
yeah.
of Sports Medicine and Rehabilitation. He deserves that.
do we get a Tommy Gazzola today?
I think so, because the Oilers practice at noon.
So he won't be with me on Oil Stream?
No, I think he'll be with you on the Oil Stream. I don't know. Will he get to practice?
I don't know.
I usually feel like he does the Oil Stream when the practice is at noon. No.
Yeah, well, we'll have to figure that out. I mean, he's going to have to pop in on the Oil Stream at some point, I think, or else we would have to get somebody else already. Anyway, so yeah, we're hoping to see Tommy Gazzola pop around the office today as well. Mike Johnson's coming up, but first, let's get to a sports rewind with Lieutenant Eric. All the latest happenings in the world of sports right here on Edmonton Sports Talk.
You said it, Dusty. Oilers dropping a tight one to the Stars from Rogers Place. 4-3 your final last night. Sam Gagner, a pair of goals. Connor Brown would leave the game due to injury and not return. Oilers welcome the Preds to town tomorrow afternoon. Puck drop at 1. Elsewhere last night, Canucks hammering the Sharks 10-1. Vegas, they continue to win 5-2 over Winnipeg. Kraken doubling up Nashville 4-2. Kings win on the road out east 3-2 over the Sens, while the Bruins get past the Leafs 3-2 in a shootout. NBA action, so the Raptors drop one in Philly 114-99 to the Sixers. Raps will visit Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs on Sunday. Steelers improving to 5-3. They take care of the Titans 2016. Oil Kings will play a pair of games at home over the weekend, beginning tonight against Moose Jaw on Sunday evening when they welcome in Medicine Hat. And over to U Sport, U of A Golden Bears men's hockey team hosts the U of S Huskies for a pair this weekend at the Drake. Puck drop tonight at 7, while the Pandas visit the Huskies out in Saskatoon. Golden Bears and Pandas basketball also hosting the Huskies this weekend. Tip-off at 8 tonight from the Saville Center for the Bears, while the Pandas will get underway at 6. And Golden Bears football welcoming, you guessed it, the University of Saskatchewan Huskies tomorrow at Footfield for Canada West playoff action. Kickoff 5 o'clock. Sports Rewind brought to you by Universal Rewind. Just as F1 teams rely on the box call to ensure their cars remain competitive, your industrial operation can benefit from a proactive approach to maintaining your electric motors. Contact Universal Rewind today to ensure your podium finish.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
.704 on the Nielson Show. Dustin Nielson and Lieutenant Eric with you. You can text us anytime, 780-218-9999. in the Paris Jewelers inbox. One of your texts will win text of the day, and it's just straight fire in the inbox today.
Oh.
Nasty chat is absolutely hopping right now, and I don't know if I'm so fired up with all this energy. I don't know if it's because I'm on the latte today or just because we spent an hour breaking down that hockey game.
You get an extra shot of espresso in that puppy this morning? Is that what's happening?
No, I haven't done
doctor
that
it up
since
for you?
day one.
Little
It's
red
just,
eye, yeah?
Just a regular latte, but it's
Okay.
enough to get me going. It's enough to get me going. I got a long day ahead. So, yeah, that'll keep me cruising. Plus, your energy in the inbox and on the nasty chat, that kind of gets us going here today as well. Jam-packed second hour. We are going to catch up with Greg Wyshynski. He's going to be by around 7:45 today. He picked the Oilers to win the Stanley Cup. What an idiot. Wyshynski's going to be by around 7:45. I will dive into the CFL weekend a little bit, get into the local spin for United Sport and Cycle, and your cool bet hotline of the day. We delivered an NFL parlay winner yesterday. We'll try to we'll circle back around here to what's happening tonight as we work our way through the second hour of the show. Mike Johnson is our NHL analyst today. Brought to you by Pro-Am Sports. They've got you covered for Heritage Classic souvenirs, including pucks, pins, prints, and patches. Visit them in Edmonton on St. Albert Trail, just north of the Yellowhead Orange line at proamsports.ca. MJ, you picked the right day to come to the show. How you doing, buddy?
I want nothing but hot fire. I want energy. I want emotion. I want panic. I want anger. I think they're running the gamut out there in Edmonton right now. And what's amazing we have not seen in years is that there might be a little bit of frustration pointed at the best players. We haven't seen that. And they haven't deserved it. Like, they've never warranted any sort of, we need more out of. But I think you watch a game like last night, like Sam Gagner, it's a great moment. Like, just fantastic. It almost like the whole crowd appreciated, here's this veteran everyone respects. He's been around for so long. And like the sort of circle of life moment coming back to Edmonton again. And then getting 2 goals. And like that was awesome. But just, it was a game where, their best guys were not as good as they usually are. And that's troubling.
So many things were troubling about last night's game. But the Gagner one is a really good point to make because, like, Sam Gagner went to the net harder last night than anybody has gone to the net this season. Like, you could tell that there was this level of effort from Sam Gagner that just didn't appear to be there with everybody else to start the year. So I don't know if Sam Gagner, who's going to play 13 minutes a game, can be the guy that sort of gets everybody's effort level cranked up, but at least it's there for him, right?
Yeah, and it's infectious. Like, what we saw last night and the way the crowd responded, the way the bench responded to him showed the kind of respect he has, and maybe that can be something that they build off of. But they did pile up a ton of shots, and I guess give Wedgwood credit. Every now and then he has these games, this Scott Wedgwood, where you're like, where is this guy coming from, and why is he so damn good? But he does them, a handful of times a year. But what is difficult for the Oilers? We can dissect a lot of different things. One, the power play going from 33% to 21%. That's a lot of action that their best players get. And I've always said that power play, even for the best players, the power play is like oxygen for the legs of 5-on-5 play. And what you get on the power play, greasy second assist. I'm having a bad game, but I tip one in. It just feeds the rest of your game. They're not getting that like they once were. That's a problem, I think. But maybe more than that is when they make mistakes, they're making big mistakes. Like, they're giving up bad chances against, their misreads on some rushes, some ill-timed pinches without support. It's the big miss that is much harder to recover from because you're giving up such good chances when the goalies don't make those saves. That's also troubling. And it seems like it happens, a few times a game where you just kind of scratch your head, and it's a variety of people, not always the same people, but it's like, you can't do that. It's a game of mistakes. You're going to make mistakes, but at certain moments, in certain situations, you can't do that. And they, unfortunately, are doing it a little bit too often.
Yeah, well, and you laid it out last night. I mean, CC makes a bad pinch, and it's a goal that Skinner probably wants back. It goes right underneath him, right through his legs. That's a tough one. Broberg, probably feeling good, skates it up the middle of the ice, and then bobbles it, then has this awkward turn to the bench, and all of a sudden it's a 3-on-1 that's in the back of your net, and then a 3-on-2 where – a little bit of confusion maybe with McDavid as the back checker, but Bouchard just turns around and watches the play, and Rupe Hintz skates right by him to the front of the net. I mean, I just don't know how. Like I probably got a little carried away in the first hour, but I said go watch the Golden Bears play this weekend. Like you won't see a guy have a path that clear to the net. I don't know how that. I don't know how Bouchard just watches that play develop.
Yeah, and it's like who do you think's going to take him? Like he's going right by you. It's like there's no one else back there. Like it's got to be you now. I would say, listen, Connor McDavid, you're the fastest player in the world. Take 4 hard strides and make sure that seam pass that goes side to side can't get to that player.
Yeah,
like
eliminated on the first pass as opposed to, because after that, he sort of paused and evaluated and watched the puck too, and then took a couple more strides, but it was too late at that point, right? Like,
and maybe he thought that pass was too hard to make or it was going to be offside or whatever. Maybe he was tired, but it's goals are rarely one mistake. There are multiple mistakes, but yeah, that Bouchard has had, an up and down start to his season. The hope was that he would build on the terrific stuff he did last year, not only with the puck, but also grow without it. And he's had some rough moments. That was one of them. But, maybe you want to try to be optimistic and say it was a better effort. Like there was more stuff happening. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't great, but it was better. I think Evander Kane, the way he's played as of late as well, sort of put the target on himself with I'm not playing enough comments. And he's played fantastic since then. So there are some things starting to develop, but whatever they have, 7 points or whatever it is, like, they're third or fourth last in the conference.
5 points, Mike. They have 5 points.
Sorry, I was optimistic. I know. I'm sorry. I was counting after next game they'll have 7 points.
Yeah, because they play Nashville,
points.
and they always beat Nashville. So they got
exactly.
that going.
7 points of what Leon Draisaitl will have in that game alone. But yeah, it's they got to get points. The process stuff is rings a little hollow when you're at the bottom of the standings.
Mike, I agree that it does ring hollow, and it rings hollow for fans. Nobody wants to hear it. I do, though. I will take a bit of an optimistic approach. Lowercase O in this case. Mm-hmm. Going back to last Thursday, getting shut out by the Rangers. I mean, I'm taking the approach of you saw a little something in the Heritage Classic. You had 3-4 days off. Now you're coming up against a really good team that are playing well. When you're playing well and doing the work, you get the bounces. And for the Oilers, it's the total opposite. But for former players such as yourself, you're in the room. We've gone over all the issues. Power play, I don't know, McDavid. I mean, there are so many things. But what is it in the room to, and again, last night, they got the shots on. Later on, I mean, if Bouchard doesn't hit a crossbar or something goes in off a mistake late, they take it to overtime to get a point. Like, that thermostat's cranked down just a bit. So I'm just wondering, in the room, as a player, with all these things going on and power play not doing well and all this, how do you as a player just kind of get to a point where you do get those bounces? Is it just hard work and again, the example laid down by Sam Gagner last night? Or is it the fact that we've kind of seen this team built up with a really good power play, and when the lights go off on that, this is just what it is? I mean, what is it in that room that you can just kind of turn, or is it that simple right now?
Well, if it was easy to just flip it on, everyone would, right? Like it's like, the guys in the room care more than you, more than Dusty, more than me. They like, it's their job, it's their life. They care. It drives them crazy that they're not doing as well as they want to, and they want to try to do the right things. And some of it might be health, some of it might be confidence, and you can't just say be more confident, make more good plays. They want to make good plays, they're just not able to make them all the time. I do think not the dependence, but the overwhelming strength of the power play would hide or mask some other potential deficiencies. But the thought was, even if they took a step back, it's not like 2 years ago they were 28%. 3 years ago they were 27%. Like, they were still really good. They weren't quite as historically great as last year, but like it wouldn't go down to be middle of the pack. That would be a problem. But coupled with that is, listen, McDavid is an overwhelming force in the NHL. 5-on-5, 5-on-4, and he hasn't been. I don't know what to say. Like, he just, I believe he will be. I certainly don't believe he's 100% healthy right now, and he's working through some stuff. The Connor Brown experiment hasn't worked at all the way that they hoped that it would. But when you take a power play and you cut its efficiency by 40%, and then you take the best player in the world who nobody can ever stop, whether he's playing with Draisaitl or not, at 5-on-5, and you make him just good and not the world's greatest, the team doesn't look the same. They don't get the same results, and then confidence, pressure, stress, strain, all that starts to chip away, and you find yourself with 5 points at this point in the season.
Connor McDavid, we've talked about him a few times here. He has 4 even strength points so far this year. Now, he missed a couple of games. I look at that number and I go, wow, I wouldn't have thought we'd be saying that, this early in the season, that he only has 4 even strength points. Now, after the first loss to Vancouver, then they lost that second game in Vancouver. Woodcroft basically put McDavid and Draisaitl together at that point, and all it's led to is a win over Nashville and the Heritage Classic win over Calgary. I would think it's probably time to split those guys up again. And we said in the first hour of the show, usually in the past you would split those guys up because nobody else was doing anything. This time, I think you're splitting those guys up because they really haven't moved the needle much, which is weird to say.
I don't think that phrase has ever been uttered.
Yeah.
We're going to split them up because they're not being productive. Like that's never part of the equation there. But you're right. I mean, the other conversation they would be having, and we're not in the room, but where's Connor's health and how much, if you put him with whoever, Hyman and Kane or whoever it might be, or Fogle and Hyman or whatever it is, like, is he comfortable taking that on himself and sort of being in charge of that? Or is his body still a little bit compromised that, maybe they think having Leon around to do some of that work for him, with him, would help him right now? But I'm with you. Like, I think everyone would sort of acknowledge if it was working well, having McDavid and Draisaitl on different lines is more optimal than having them on the same line. We never really talk about what to do if it's not working well. But it's not, like, flat out, it's not. It's just not. It's not something. Like, you guys may have better memories than me about, like, I don't really ever remembering McDavid sort of going through 10, 12 games where he just looks like one of the best players and not this sort of supernova, otherworldly guy.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what he's looked like so far this year.
Yeah, 1.2 points per game is still really awesome for other players.
Yeah, I mean,
but for him, it's just
take your 97 points, and you're like, yeah, that's really, really great. But it's still, again, 40% fewer than he had last year, and that's a big, big drop.
All right, your thoughts on everything, 780-218-9999. You can hit us up in the nasty chat as well. We'll get some more reaction on that. If you just look in the division, Vegas has had this great start. The Kings look really good again. And then there's the Vancouver Canucks, who, like, 10 goals against San Jose is probably like the equivalent to 4 against a real NHL team.
How many times, Dusty, how many times will San Jose give up a touchdown this year? What do you think? Can we set an over-under on that?
I'd probably set it at like 14 and a half.
I was going to say 9.5.
Yeah. So we're somewhere in the middle. We'll set it at 12 and a half. They're
ridiculous,
awful.
but yes.
They're awful, but I mean, Vancouver does look really good so far.
They do. I mean, look at their scores. I mean, Quinn Hughes is doing Erik Karlsson-like things, except better on defense. He is just running the show back there and playing a ton of minutes. Him and Filip Hronek have been one of the best pairs in the league. Thatcher Demko, when healthy, can be really good. But when you looked at their team, even the last couple of years, you looked at Vancouver and you say, they got a lot of good forwards. Like, they just have a lot, Beauvillier is not a great player, but he's a good little player.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
And he's like an afterthought on that team. Connor Garland, they're trying to trade, or he wants out of there. And yet, he's a legit top 6 on about every team in the NHL. Like, they have a lot of depth. The Besser's going again, which is, like, everyone's happy on a personal level to see him thriving after a couple tough years. JT Miller, Pettersson, who should be talking more about his contractual situation, because every day he plays, it's like he's adding zeros to that contract and whether or not he stays in Vancouver. But good on Rick Tocchet. And they are, I get they're shooting the lights out and they're not going to score like this all year. I get it. Like, I get their shooting percentage is probably unsustainably high, but a good start can take you a long way. And they have the kind of depth that can also sustain some of their players going cold, because presumably at some point Mikheyev and Garland and Beauvillier and these other players Kuzmenko will get a bit hotter, and they should be able to score a lot of goals. They're a fun watch, but they can really zip it around when they got everyone playing with a lot of confidence, which they do.
Oilers get them on Monday, which should be interesting. MJ, appreciate it, man. Thanks for the time, and enjoy your weekend, buddy.
All right, boys. Have a great weekend.
All right, see you later. There you go. That's Mike Johnson, one of the best in the biz, no doubt about it. And joins us every Friday here at 7:05 on Edmonton Sports Talk and the Nielson Show, brought to you by Pro-Am Sports. Why not pop by Pro-Am and just go in and hang out with the cooks and boys? You know, I don't know if they want me telling people to be like, hey, go down and hang out for a couple hours. But if you
loiter
do,
around in the store, you know,
you'll find
chew the
something you
fat.
like. It's near impossible to go into Pro-Am and not buy something. Like, I don't know if I've ever gone in there and left with empty hands, whether I was, like, picking something up that I dropped off or because I can't just pop by and not get something. So
It's kind of fun to go in, though, with no idea and then knowing
Yeah.
you're probably going to find something, have a little cash on hand.
Yeah, set a little budget.
Yeah.
And then just go in and, like, see
yeah.
what can I do
Let
with
your
this,
mind
right?
wander, you know?
You get
let
one
the eye
bigger
gaze.
item,
Yeah,
couple
yeah.
smaller items. Go visit them. Like I said, there's that Arby's in the area, too. You hit up that Arby's. It's always a nice little time. What do you do if you split up McDavid and Draisaitl right now? What are the lines? Like last night, and Jay Woodcroft did say that Gagne would have been the next forward up had they had a chance to get another body out there. Because I did see a lot of people on the Oil Stream post-game show last night right here on Edmonton Sports Talk, which you can now listen to on the TuneIn app. I did see a lot of people be like, why was Gagne not out there? Woodcroft was asked about it after. He said he would have been out there, but they didn't have a chance to get him out there.
When you were talking PP2 yesterday, PP won.
Well, no, like if Sam Gagne is going to try that hard every single night, you know, you're probably playing with some guy. And he was playing with Evander Kane and Nuge there, and so what do your lines look like if McDavid and Draisaitl are split up? Because McDavid and Draisaitl right now aren't giving you the McDavid and Draisaitl advantage that they usually would give you playing together. And, you know, it doesn't matter. Even if they were to combine for like 4 or 5 points in a loss, it doesn't matter. They're not winning games with these two guys together right now. So you started the season with them apart, albeit brief. If you go back to that, what would you like to see? Hit us up right now, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999, and slide into the nasty chat here as well. Split them up. Split up 97 and 29. Who's with who? And, you know, could you at some point, some way, you know, play 12 forwards together for a little bit and run lines like a hockey team? Your thoughts on that, of course, 780-218-9999. Cool bet hotline of the day. Nice work on the football yesterday, boys. Oilers obviously completely sucked a big one on the EST Oilers parlay, but Mr. Lean delivered on the Levis over 199. I was on Hopkins over 52.5.
It's fun to watch.
Yeah, it was just a plus 175, but got it taken care of.
Down to the wire, yeah.
Better than losing the money. If you're not yet signed up for an account at CoolBet, you can do so today. If you want to ride along with us, have some fun. You don't have to go in and bet hundreds of dollars on every play. You can go and bet $2 if you want. And bet $1. It doesn't matter. You can bet whatever you want with our partners over at CoolBet. Use the code LOCKSHOP when you sign up, and you get a 100% deposit bonus on your initial deposit, very first deposit you make, up to $200. Mr. Lean, what are you looking at? It's a light night.
It's not about tonight.
It's a quiet University of Alberta Golden Bears.
There's nothing else to look at this
We
weekend.
can tie this into the local spin after, so let's get started.
So the Golden Bears hosting the Saskatchewan Huskies tomorrow, 5 o'clock, Foot Field. It's Canada West semifinal action. It's like $20 to get in. It's after the Oiler game. Oiler game's at 1. It should be done by about 4:30 or 3:30 or so. You got lots of time to watch the Oiler game or head to the Oiler game and then get to Foot Field.
It's going to be awesome there.
So it's going to be a fun game. The Bears have beaten the Huskies twice, and in both games, they're the better team. They're just the better team.
But they're not ranked higher.
They're not ranked higher because U Sport's a joke. But minus 185 on the money line. But if you take the spread, which is minus 3.5, it's minus 114. So my lean would be the Golden Bears taking the spread. I have nowhere else to go. If Patty or Jake are listening and we're doing a parlay here, I would love if that number goes to like a 2.5 instead of 3.5.
Okay, all right. We can put these things whatever
I know,
we
but
want,
that's like I would rather make it just a full field goal, and they win. So if it's looking for a parlay, I'd like to change that to minus 2.5. But for just a straight up lean one pick, minus 3.5 Bears at 114. Yeah. That's where I am. That's all I could be at. I don't care about anything else this weekend. Bears, Huskies, football, Canada West. Also, if you can't make it, it will be on TELUS.
Preemptive strike here for their CoolBet partners. Golden Bears, football, money line. Edmonton Oilers in regulation against Nashville. That can be a parlay for tomorrow.
Oh, you're going to go money line with the Bears?
Yeah, just go money line. I mean, you're putting it into a parlay. Plus, we'll get a little bit of a boost. Well, no, I mean, I guess if we're going to build it off Mr. Lean.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if 2.5 for money line, what you'd prefer.
Are the Golden Bears going to win by 1 or 2? I like the 2.5.
They won the first game. They won by a few. The last one, I think it was a game-winning field goal, so it was dead on 3 points.
So the 2.5 would have been covered.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do it. Let's go Golden Bears football minus 2.5. Oilers in regulation against Nashville. We'll have that as a parlay that'll pop up. They don't have the lines yet for tomorrow's hockey games, but once those start to trickle in later tonight, you can get in on that. As for your cool bet hotline for today, let's see, 2 games in the NHL tonight. Devils and Blues. Devils did play last night.
They're scoring.
No, let's do this. Let's take the Buffalo Sabres in regulation at minus 105 tonight. Sabres in reg minus 105 tonight against the Philadelphia Flyers. Buffalo is at home in that game. Let's log that in as your cool bet hotline of the day. Buffalo Sabres in regulation at home tonight. And, I like that number, actually. Minus 105 for the Sabres at home. I really like that because they're minus 168 on the money line. But if you just like them to win in regulation, it's minus 105. That's a really nice bump. So let's get on the Sabres at minus 105 in regulation tonight for your cool bet hotline of the day. And Patty and Jake and whoever is watching today. If not, maybe fire Patty a text too just to make sure we get it up there. It'll probably be up late tonight for sure. First thing tomorrow morning. But yeah, Golden Bears minus 2.5. Oilers in regulation will be the play tomorrow for us. I like. We're slowly. I don't know if Cookson from Pro-Am was a huge D-gen before we really started pumping Cool Bet, but he says thanks for the nice words today, which is good. Not sure Mr. Lean gets how huge a full point through a key number is. I hope they do it. I might try to middle that one. So, like, to move it from a value perspective, we'll get whatever number we want. If we wanted Golden Bears by 1 million, Cool Bet would give us Golden Bears by 1 million. The odds would be insane. But it is a big drop in value from 3.5 to 2.5.
Yeah.
But they give it to us.
And
we're going to parlay with the Oilers and reg and then get a boost. So we're going to get our value on it there.
Yeah. You just can't, on Cool Bet, you can't change it yourself.
Not for university sports.
Not for U Sport.
For NFL.
But you can for those other, or CFL. Yeah. But no, it's better than the money line.
At 2.5, it's better than the money line, yeah. I do like that. All right, let's do this. We got the local spin coming up. We're going to do that. We're going to get to some of your line combinations that are already trickling in here as well. I do want to set up both of the East and West semifinals in the Canadian Football League. And Greg Wyshynski is going to join us all in the next 32 minutes. So things are going to be jammed up as we continue to plow through this. Your reaction to the Oilers dropping another one. I don't know who in the world. Well, the answer is nobody. Because nobody expected the Oilers with a soft and friendly schedule to start the season to only win 2 of their first 9 hockey games. You could not have asked for a better schedule to start the season. And then yada, 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 here we are. Let's get to a sports update for Lieutenant Eric, or with Lieutenant Eric, for our great partners over at Park Mazda. What's the latest in the world of sports?
I'm glad you asked, Dusty, because some CFL news this morning. The Ottawa Redblacks have parted ways with offensive coordinator Kahari Jones. Jones spent this past season calling plays in Ottawa where the Redblacks finished 4-14. Oilers dropping a tight one to the Stars last night from Rogers Place, 4-3 your final. Sam Gagne with a pair of goals. Connor Brown leaving the game due to injury. He would not return. Oilers welcome the Preds tomorrow afternoon. Puck drop at 1. Elsewhere last night, Canucks hammer the Sharks 10-1. Vegas over Winnipeg 5-2. Kraken double up Nashville 4-2. Kings 3-2 winners on the road out in Ottawa, while the Bruins get past the Leafs 3-2 in a shootout. Raptors drop one in Philly 114-99 to the Sixers. Toronto visit Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs on Sunday. In the NFL, the Steelers improved to 5-3 with a 2016 win over the Titans. Oil Kings back in action this weekend. They'll play a pair of games at home, beginning tonight against Moose Jaw and Sunday evening against Medicine Hat. U Sport action this weekend. The U of A Golden Bears men's hockey team hosts the U of S Huskies for a pair at the Drake. Puck drops 7 o'clock tonight while the Pandas visit the Huskies out in Saskatoon. Golden Bears and Pandas basketball also hosting U of S this weekend. Tip-off tonight at 6 for the Pandas and 8 for the Bears from the Saville Center. Golden Bears football welcome in the Saskatchewan Huskies tomorrow. Footfield, Canada West playoff action kickoff at 5 o'clock. Sports update brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda and Mitch Lewicki. Mitch was using a new putter this weekend because his old one didn't float too well.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you can afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki with like a giant eagle's wings and singing lead vocals for Lynyrd Skynyrd with like an angel band. And I'm in the crowd hammered drunk.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
.731 as we continue to dissect an Oilers defeat at the hands of the Dallas Stars. JCD 780 moving from YouTube over to the TuneIn app. There's nothing that arouses me more than seeing somebody send us a picture on Twitter or in our DMs of them just on the dashboard listening to Edmonton Sports Talk. You have to tell your friends that it's insanely easy to do, and it is the future, it's the present, it's static free, and it's highly entertaining. So make sure you pass it around. Word of mouth would help us out big time. Okay, Wyshynski's going to be popping by here. Let's get into the local spin. Let's dive into the local spin for United Sport and Cycle. Speaking of places you can go, I'd like to spend like 48 straight hours inside of United Sport and Cycle with like 3 friends.
You just discovered the steps, right? To the,
well, no, I always knew. Like, I've been in there 1,000 times, and I always, like, the main steps, but then I was going over when I was considering becoming a longboarder, and there's these other steps that go straight up into the goalie.
I can't wait till you
there.
walk up and look at a shoe and take it off the thing, and all of a sudden a wall opens up, and you get to another area.
No, there has to be a secret. There has to be a secret place.
Catacombs
in fact,
of United
I think Kelly told me that they've got like a ton of extra space in that building, which I don't know how it's possible when you basically have like 25 stores jammed into one.
I love it.
But yeah, there's apparently more space just kicking around at United Sport and Cycle. 4th generation, family-owned, operated business for over 95 years. If you need any sort of any equipment for anything, I was going to say hockey, the goalie equipment, obviously. I mean, if I would be, you know, like in Wayne's World when he always want to go play the Fender guitar. Like, if I had time and, like, let's say I didn't have kids and a family and a job and I was, like, independently wealthy, I would probably go in there every day, spend about an hour just trying on different goalie equipment and looking at myself in a mirror.
Yeah.
Right, and then making moves and stuff. And then one day you walk in and you say, "Not today, good sir," and you pull out the cash and you're buying a pair of pads and the upper gear and everything. So who doesn't love trying on goalie equipment? It's just...
Well, again, you can get running shoes. They have a little track you can run. Like, you can kind of sample whatever you need there as well, right? If you ask politely and they have the...
I want to go in and ride a bike around the store. Like through the tight areas.
That's
too,
what you want. You want to do that
works.
slow and make sure it turns well and everything.
All right, local spin. Here's what's on tap this weekend. We already talked. The Golden Bears football are a 3.5-point favorite despite being ranked lower in the... Now, they better win because we've gone out on a limb here claiming that they are significantly better than the Huskies that they've beaten twice. If they lose this game, where do you guys come out on the tough to beat a team 3 times in one season?
I do think that's why I actually have a little...
So you are hesitant?
No, I like...
You just told us 2.5.
I like the fact that they're going... If they win, they go to UBC having lost twice, and I can see that as a nice motivator.
Okay.
I don't look at it as there's this... Like, we're not going on a limb saying they were the better team. They were the better team.
Yeah, no.
Now you're in players, and there's a reason it's called Any Given Sunday, you know, and I know this has been played on Saturday, but in one game in football, anything can happen. So, like, it's not a lock that they're definitely going to win tomorrow. There's no question about that. But it's not like we're going off on U Sport rankings without anything back. They did beat the Huskies twice this year. In those games, they were better. They deserve to be ranked higher going into this football game. But the Huskies are still a good program. So I wouldn't, it's not something I'm going to sit here and be like, I would be stunned if the Huskies found a way to beat the Bears tomorrow.
They deserve to be ranked higher, but they don't deserve to win, is what you're saying.
I don't think that takes away anything that we've been saying this week.
Okay, well, then that's good. I'm very disappointed in future Nielson Show guest Bob Stauffer. Not a single tweet about the University of Alberta Golden Bears being lower in the rank. He did like my tweet bitching about it. So he's out there.
Yeah, but a like.
But it's, a like. You liked it? Not even a retweet stuff? Like, come on,
Amplify
man.
the message.
Killing us. Golden Bears football against the Huskies. Golden Bears hockey Friday, Saturday at the Drake against the Huskies as well. If you're looking for a really good bang for your buck, we're planning to take Marshall's hockey team out to a Golden Bears game at some point. I was texting with Marps this week. Anytime the Huskies and Golden Bears collide, it's going to lead to great entertainment. So you can hit that up this weekend. Edmonton Oil Kings.
Yes, they get Yager Furcus and the Eastern Conference leading Moose Jaw Warriors tonight.
What a name, eh? Furcus.
Yager Furcus, yeah. And then the second place Medicine Hat Tigers on Sunday. So two of the top talents in the WHL's East will be gracing Edmonton over the weekend, both tonight and Sunday evening.
You had some Bears and Panda stuff in the sports update as well, did you not?
The Bears and Pandas are seeing green this weekend. That's what it is. Of course, we went over the hockey, the Golden Bears hosting the U of S, the Pandas visiting the Huskies out in Saskatoon. The hoops action on the hard court. Bears and Pandas both hosting the Huskies this weekend. Pandas, 6 o'clock tip-off tonight. Golden Bears at 8 from Saville Center. And, of course, the big football game tomorrow down at Foot Field. And nice, Maddie mentioned the time. And we like to do this mostly during the summer months when baseball, football, and all that stuff is going on. But you got the Oilers, and then you got that perfect kind of time leading up to kickoff at the game. Gives you a bit of a window to get the travel down if you need to get out there, right, LRT. But 5 o'clock kickoff tomorrow, Foot Field.
On the AJHL schedule this weekend, it's really bizarre, but Spruce and Sherwood Park do not play at home this weekend. They are both on the road throughout the weekend as well. So quiet locally on the AJHL front. Spruce is in Drumheller tonight, and then they're in Okotoks on Saturday. Sherwood Park down in Brooks tonight, and then in Drumheller on Saturday. So maybe they'll get to go as a team building thing to the Dinosaur Museum, which is just amazing. I was there this year. Incredible. I like to make that like a once every 2 year type of thing with the kids.
Maybe Woody takes him down there today, hey? Spend
the
Friday
afternoon, Oilers down
Friday
there to
afternoon
drum.
prior to tomorrow's man.
Yeah. Can't Kate's charter a flight that lands right down on the what do they call it?
Helipad.
The Badlands.
You get helicopter.
The Badlands. That would be kind of cool. That gets the team going. That's what the Oilers need.
Yeah, or whatever.
Maybe that'll get them. Do you know how hard the dinosaurs worked for millions of years to stay alive? Sam Gagne puts his hand up. I do, sir. How does the rest of the team not watch Sam Gagne last night and go, oh, man, there is more in the tank for us?
But maybe now they do.
Yeah, well, maybe they do.
We all thought the Heritage Classic was a turning point. Maybe it was the 4-3 tight loss to the Stars on a Thursday night when Sam Gagne scores 2 goals. Who had that on the bingo card, right?
Nobody. There you go. That is the local spin. That's what's happening locally for United Sport and Cycle. I do have a little trivia question because we do have gift certificate. We have $50 gift certificate. These gift certificates are great. It's got our logo on it. It's got their stuff on it. $50 to United Sport and Cycle. All you have to do is tell us how many wins the University of Alberta Golden Bears have in the regular season this year. Text that answer right now to 780-218-9999. And Maddie or Eric will grab a winner. They'll contact you later today, and you will win a gift certificate to United Sport and Cycle. Like we said, go on down there and try to stay there for 4.5 straight hours one afternoon. How many regular season wins did the Golden Bears football team have this season? Text the correct answer to 780-218-9999, and we will get you into the draw for that gift certificate from United Sport and Cycle, your home of hockey for over 95 years, which is a long, long, long time. Phil from a balcony in Banff. Did you put that handle in? I love that his handle is actually Phil from a balcony in Banff.
I don't know if I did, but he has referred
he was a 1260 guy for a long time.
With the label from a balcony in Banff?
He used to be from.
Read that
he's from Bears Paw. Used to be, and then he then went to the balcony in Banff, or would go the other way and back to Banff. I don't remember. Wow. Huge, long-time listener of the JMO show. Had him at times in pre and post game for the Elks and stuff.
He texted August 25th here. The Phil from a den in Bears Paw.
Yeah,
Perfect. You were
that's
perfect.
Yeah, I love
say
it.
it goes back and forth then. But yeah, no, Phil's a long time 1260 guy.
Anyway, he's in and says, I bought my first motorcycle at United Cycle, a Suzuki AC 1000 Wolf, 1968, at the original store on White Ave. I still remember the smell of the back room, all gasoline and oil. And what did Gager say yesterday? I could sniff that all day. This text is in as they try to win that United gift card more than the Oilers.
Coming after that text of the day, too. Coming after the double win here.
How
eh?
many wins did they have this year? The answer, more than the Oilers. That's your local spin for United Sport and Cycle. Wyshynski coming up in about 5-6 minutes for Metal Supermarkets, your convenience stores for Metal. CFL this weekend. I'll be flying to Vancouver later on today. Calgary Stampeders are now a 7-point dog on the road against the BC Lions. Lieutenant Eric, is there an upset brewing, or how could there be an upset brewing for the 6-win, by the way, 6-win Calgary Stampeders?
More than the Oilers at this point.
Yeah.
You'd have to ask Pat Steinberg, I guess, for his thoughts, as he's, I think, the only person on earth picking the Stamps to have any sort of chance in this one.
Steinberg. We're gonna have to get him on. I texted with him
Well,
last week.
I'd like to hear the explanation.
Now
I was just doing it to do it, but
now that we're independent and Steinberg is at Sportsnet, I wanted to get him on last week, but he had a dentist appointment, so he couldn't join us.
I like Chris O'Leary's kind of sometimes gone off haywire and not the usual picks that everybody else does. So I appreciate him. I just like to hear the explanation, but no, I mean I'm riding the Lions all day with this. So I know we talked expectation and pressure on Vernon Adams Jr. and everything, and that place is going to be packed and bumping, but they're a real good team talent-wise, right? Unless they throw up a stinker.
There would have to be there's a path to an upset. Like
as Matty said, any given Sunday. I mean that always rings true.
We saw Calgary go in there and pump the Lions 2-3 weeks ago, whatever it was. Yeah. But at BC at that point, could they have still caught Winnipeg? Highly unlikely. Didn't have much else to play for in that game. And they turned the ball over like 5 times. So if you turn the ball over 5 times, you're probably going to lose every single football game. I'm not expecting Jake Mayer to go in and throw for 350 yards and outgun the air attack of the BC Lions. If Kadeem Carey and to a lesser extent Peyton Logan, who's going to be in this game, I don't think Mills is going to play. So you're going to have Kadeem Carey and Peyton Logan. If they can establish the ability to run the football against the BC Lions defense, BC secondary is incredible. I think they got 2 All-Stars in the secondary, another one in the linebacking core, a couple of D, and they got 5 All-Stars on the defense for the BC Lions. But I think you can probably run the ball against them a little bit. But it's going to come down to Micah Alway and Cam Judge making game-changing plays defensively if Calgary's going to pull off this upset. It's a lot to ask. But Calgary's got nothing to lose, man. They're a 6-win team that's in the playoffs. They should be as loosey-goosey as a playoff team has ever been.
We've seen it in the CFL time and time again where a plucky third place comes in. There's all the hype is about the top 2 teams, and then somehow, yada, 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 they find themselves in the Grey Cup. So you can't put it past them, but BC would have to have a day at the dumps. You'd have to be one of those days. And again, you have a couple turnovers. An injury happens, weird things like that. One game, one off, but I mean, if everything stands tall, BC should take.
I don't see Calgary.
Easily.
Could they beat BC? They could beat BC, but I don't see them going into Winnipeg and knocking off the Bombers. Where I do think the Lions, depending on the conditions that day, could be a handful for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. But
so much more so.
Any take on the Ticats?
No.
And the Montreal Alouettes?
Can't touch that puppy.
I have no idea. I have no idea what's going to happen.
I don't think the Ticats even know in terms of a quarterback. I mean, I love the platooning of the two and really keeping people guessing. I'm all for that. I especially think in a CFL season when you have so many games and everything, I'm all for having 2 guys going at once. But going into Montreal and the way they've been packing that park and the way their fans, with those car alarms and all that stuff, this is a game that you just.
Yeah, I'll probably be BC plays early, so I can kind of just sit back and watch this game.
Sit back and enjoy it. But I don't know either way, and I don't know how you touch it. I don't know what the
feel I get, and this is just a gut feeling. Montreal either wins a close one, or the Ticats walk in and blow them out. I think it goes one of those two ways. Like, I don't see Montreal, and maybe I end up being completely incorrect. Maybe Montreal at home hammers the Ticats. I feel like Montreal either grinds out a tight one here, or Hamilton's having one of those days, and when Hamilton can look good, they still look like a really good football team. So,
and if they have one of those days, you're rolling into an East final in Toronto, one win away from
with
playing
momentum
in a Grey Cup
home
at home.
Grey Cup.
With how the season started and how it went, I mean that momentum would have to just propel them into that Toronto game. But again, they have to take care of this business.
Double dip CFL playoff action coming your way on Saturday. Rod Smith will have the call of the East Final. Myself, my great buddy Glenn Suter, friendship bracelet friends.
Daryl and Glenn on the call, eh?
Yeah, Daryl and Glenn on the call. So we will have that for you as well as we continue to work our way through the CFL, setting up what will be the East and West Finals the next week, and then, of course, the Grey Cup looming as well. Your convenience store for metal supermarkets, whatever size, whatever piece of metal you need, cut accurately, cut extremely fast, and they just take care of business for you. Metal supermarkets, your convenience stores for metal. Give it to me. Greg Wyshynski pops by once again. 3 weeks in a row now, I think I've given him a chance to change his Stanley Cup pick, which was the Edmonton Oilers. Wyshynski, how are you doing this morning, buddy?
Dallas is a good team. I mean, what you needed was to come off the Heritage Classic reset, which we know is going to change everything, and play a team that was a little bit more manageable than the second best team in the conference, depending on the day. So, still confident. All we needed was a point from Connor Leon last night, and things would have gone fine, right?
Yeah, they were that close. They were that close last night. I cannot wait to see the turn online and in our text inbox and on the Nasty Chat on YouTube of people saying Greg Wyshynski is too much of an Oilers homer. That's how close we are. Which should just be the ultimate plot twist, buddy.
It's going to be fine. I think. Maybe. There is a wild card spot that they have in the league now. I don't know if you've heard about this playoff format that they have. You don't necessarily have to finish in the top three of your division. You can just finish in the wild card spot, and they still let you play in the playoffs. So just, keep that in mind going forward for the Oilers.
All you need is a ticket to the dance, I think. So that's nice. So they signed Sam Gagner to an NHL deal after he played 3 games down in the American Hockey League. He comes up here yesterday, scores 2 goals in the third period, gives them hope. And I mean, we're not even exaggerating when we say he went to the net harder yesterday than any player has on the Oilers all season. And the effort was there, maybe unlike we've seen before. Is it possible that Sam Gagner gets the Oilers' work ethic on track, Greg?
Sure. And I mean, that would have been what a cool thing it would have been for this team if they constantly are searching for moments they can latch on to have him, lead a third period rally for a victory. It didn't come to fruition, but it's like those types of moments that you can hang on to. I mean, look, it's hard to really say the effort. Okay, look, you guys watch the Oilers more than I do. Do you think this is a problem with effort or with execution?
I think it's maybe not effort, but hunger, the extra effort, to muck things up a little bit around the net. I mean, and in front of your own net, play a little bit more physical. But you do make a fair point. They have not executed anywhere near the level of last year, including on the power play.
They haven't, exactly, and especially in the power play. And so, if it was effort, then I'd be really concerned because, the reason why myself and a lot of people hopped on him is because we all thought it was going to be this attitudinal, we're tired of losing, we're going to go and maraud the league now and take what's ours. And so if they come out of the gate, they're lackadaisical, then that'd be probably more reason for concern. But I think personally, and having, seen him a couple times and tracking some of the stats, to me, it's much more about the execution of the thing than it is about the lack of a Sam Gagner-like effort every night.
Greg, Connor Brown, who really hasn't produced too much in this young season, leaving the game last night and not returning. How open is a cup window, would you say, when you only have 10 available forwards?
It's not good. But then again, you can't have it both ways. You can't ding this team for its lack of quality depth, and then when some of the quality depth is leaving the lineup, promoting the fact they're not there anymore. I know you need warm bodies, but it's just kind of funny where a lot of the criticism has been like, we need more out of the role players, and then role player leaves, and then it's like, what are we gonna do?
Greg Wyshynski with us on the show this morning. You did mention Dallas and how good they've been so far this year. I thought it was a really nice, a spot play from a betting perspective, because Dallas was playing their third game in 4 nights, and the Oilers are coming in with 3 days rest after playing the Heritage Classic on Sunday. But Dallas has an insanely deep team, do they not?
Yeah, I mean they're a team that is your classic conference final bridesmaid who could eventually, we could find out, caught the bouquet last year. They're deep, they're good. They obviously have a couple of top lines that can carry them for stretches. They obviously have a goaltender who's in the upper echelon of the league. They're well coached. Their blue line still gives me pause a little bit, the existence of Ryan Suter, for example. But with Heiskanen back there playing like 25 minutes a night, you're going to be okay. So yeah, they're just a really good hockey team. So I mean, I know we are all going to jump to judge the Oilers last night for not capitalizing on the momentum from the Heritage Classic win, but they ran into, like I said, probably the second best team in the conference. I think they might even be a little bit better than Colorado, and conceding the point that Vegas right now is the best team in the conference.
November 3rd today. We are past the point here with the Oilers saying it's early, though, right? That's not a thing anymore?
It's not a thing anymore, because I think the number is like 60% of teams that are in a playoff spot around November 1st end up making the playoffs. So, I mean, it is getting to that point. And I mean, the next signpost obviously is American Thanksgiving, but it is getting to that point where, you've got to kind of start throttling up the standings if you're going to give yourself a reasonable chance of making it. The thing about the Oilers, though, is obviously when you think about the teams in the league that have struggled and that might not necessarily be in a playoff spot right now, we know that this team is capable, based on just the play of 2 guys, to rip off 2 incredible weeks and get themselves right back into the picture. The Oilers do have that ability about them, and we've seen it before in getting on these streaks. So it's one of the reasons why, despite not being in a quite a good position right now, that I'm still somewhat optimistic that they can find their way there.
I don't want to put words in your mouth here, but the Vancouver Canucks are the most surprising team so far this season?
They're not. I told you guys they were going to make the playoffs.
You picked the Oilers to win the Cup, Greg.
Guys,
how are we supposed to believe anything you say?
Well, I mean, it probably got overshadowed by the enormity of that other pick. But yeah, I said from the start that the Canucks are going to be a playoff team this year. And for the very reasons that we've seen so far, which is that their top guys are playing really, really well. They're healthy. And more than anything else, Rick Tocchet got to have a training camp with these guys and got a good run of play last year with the roster to understand what he needed to do and what the roster needed. And, he's put his foot down on a couple of occasions in the first month of the season in a pretty emphatic way. He called them soft after 3 games. He's benching guys. He's clearly, I mean, first of all, he's clearly angling to get a Jack Adams if they make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because the broadcasters love guys that are super tough and authoritarian behind the bench. And, it's actually, now that I say that, it's kind of a miracle that Babcock didn't win the Jack Adams. But Tocchet has them playing really well. They've got structure, and the top guys are playing great, and including Quinn Hughes, who, is probably, mentioned Dallas before. We entered the season with a lot of people rumbling about how it could be Heiskanen's time to win the Norris. And I think Quinn Hughes market corrected him pretty quickly in the first month of the season, where there's going to be a lot of people rallying around the cause of trying to maybe get him the Norris if he continues to play as well as he has.
On the other side of things, the Pittsburgh Penguins go out. They get Carlson. Dubas wants to try to put together maybe one more run for this core that has had many championships along the way. Instead, they're dead last in the East right now. Is that a funk that they're going to come out of, or is that something that structurally just doesn't work?
It's a good question. I don't know where I fall on it. I mean, there are certain things about this team that should work that aren't right now, and that gives you a little bit of hope that maybe things can turn around. I mean, like, you know, they've been able to depend on their goaltending to be average. Like in years past, it was something that, yeah, okay, maybe in the playoffs you're worried about how it's going to implode, but in recent years, it's been okay, right? And so far, that hasn't necessarily worked out for them all that well. You know, you still feel Carlson trying to integrate himself into the lineup a little bit. You know, there's a lot of little things that are happening with the Penguins right now that, you know, hopefully given another, you know, month can turn around. But look, the East is a different animal right now. You know, based on the ascendancy, obviously, of teams that we knew were going to be good, like the Devils, but like now you've got the Red Wings in the mix, and Boston hasn't gone anywhere. Montreal is like good, apparently. And then in the Penguins' own division, you know, if you've got the Rangers, Devils, the Islanders are playing pretty well, and Carolina ahead of you, well, you're going to have to do some climbing to just try to get into the top three there. And then if you don't get into the top three, the wild card is a very crowded place. So they've got to figure out their stuff pretty quickly here.
What do you got coming up over at ESPN in the near future here?
Oh, well, because of all that nonsense in Ottawa, my column got delayed this week. I'm going to publish it next Tuesday. It's about advanced stats, and it's really interesting. And then Monday on ESPN.com is the first NHL Awards watch. We'll see who has usurped McDavid as the Hart favorite, as I imagine he is not the Hart favorite at this point.
It's Hughes versus Hughes, right? I mean, both brothers in the mix, I would think.
Versus Hughes, because Luke is in the mix for the Calder. Like he's within the top five scorers. Yeah, we'll talk about that. But also, if you guys are wrestling fans, which I know many people in the Nielsen audience must be, we talked to Adam Copeland, a.k.a. Edge, on The Drop, our podcast this week. Me and Arda did. And talked about his hockey fandom, his hockey video game fandom, and figuring out if this guy's actually a Devils fan or a Leafs fan, because there's been some questions about that through his career.
Is that
so,
Edge?
Yeah, it was a good chat with him.
Edge from the Brood?
Yeah, Edge, yeah. Edge from the well, you know, real quick, it's funny. I talked to him about, like, you know, how long it took for him to kind of find his groove as a wrestler and as a performer. And he said it took several years for him to do so. And I said, yeah, he had to spend a little time being a vampire before.
I love the Brood.
Yeah, me too, man. It was dope. Like, it was the greatest opening, you know, ever.
Yeah.
And coming up from the floor and stuff. And I mean, to his credit, I think these guys all have to acknowledge where they came from. And yeah, he acknowledges that at one point he was in fact a vampire.
As always, buddy, we appreciate it, man. We'll catch up next week.
Anytime.
There you go. That is Greg Wyshynski, brought to you by Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for metal, any metal, cut to size, ready fast. Once again, your convenience stores for metal! Oh, that hits.
Thank you. It does. Yeah.
Doesn't it on a Friday? That just really works. I like it. Check them out. I like people being obsessed with getting different sizes of metal cut extremely fast.
Speaking of which, Norman Combine, and this is a little off topic here, he said he'll come in and drill holes in that new sign he made for us.
Oh, wow, cool. Because we have no chance. There's no way we'll ever
on the
figure that
theme
out,
before
right?
I forget. Yeah,
Yeah, that's really nice. I was just going to stick it up with sticky tack and hope it stays.
We can
but
try
it's
that first.
Pretty heavy. You guys want a story of epic failure as a man that led my wife to calling me, I think it was an inadequate man last night, which I would never say about her.
You've been called a loser by your daughter.
Oh, yeah. This has been a tough week for Dusty.
Man. Wow.
Tough week for Dusty. So we had a new washing machine coming yesterday.
Oh.
And the other one, it was like, it would wake up the neighborhood when you ran it. So we got a new washing machine. And in order to have the new one put in, we had to like unscrew the water lines from the old one, like into the wall. So I come home yesterday at I got home at like 2:30, and I walk in and the washing machine is almost completely detached, but the hot water line was still kind of stuck, sort of seized onto the thing. And I'm tired. And you guys know I've said multiple times I hate having to do like adult things, right? I'm just like, so I come home and Tammy's like, yeah, she goes, I got this all off, but I just can't get this one off. And I was just like, I'll get it. Don't worry. So I grab
roll up the sleeves.
Vice grips,
Okay.
which I don't technically know exactly how they're supposed to work, but I get them on, and I tried to grab the little teeth on the connector to the line, and I couldn't get this thing. I couldn't get it to pop off. So then I start raging out a little bit. Like, I don't want to be doing this. I'm tired. I hate doing stuff. So I got a pipe wrench. I went she's like, I can't find any of your tools. And my tools, first of all, I don't even know what tools I have. Some of my tools, I'm not kidding, I have like an old orange plastic toolbox, like a child essentially. And then the rest of my tools are in an Apple box that I got from like Save On Foods at some point. So I've got my toolboxes. I'm trying to find, there's these ones that you could use where like you can connect it down and then it locks in. I didn't have those. So I got a pipe wrench, which is not the tool for the job. Long story short, I freak out. I'm trying to yank this off. I can't get it. I end up pulling like the whole part. It was like sealed down a bit. I yanked it up and like broke part of it off. Then I started just trying to turn the little metal clamp around the hose itself. That opened up, and then it started leaking, and we couldn't stop it leaking. And then she's like, well, maybe we should just put some WD-40 on it. That's what it says to do on the YouTube thing. Oh. And I was just like, fine, put some WD-40 on it, whatever. So hammer some WD-40 in there. I didn't let it sit very long. I keep kind of yanking on it. Water's coming out everywhere, so I got towels everywhere. And finally, I just said, call a plumber. Like, this is clearly a plumber's job. I can't get this done. So she calls a plumber. Plumber shows up relatively quick. I had to go upstairs and do Zooms with the BC line, so I kind of disconnected from all of it. So I guess the plumber shows up, and I don't know if it was the WD-40 that, like, loosened it or whatever, but I come back down after. It's all fixed. The guy ended up costing us like $200 to get this bloody thing fixed. I'm an idiot. But I said to her, how did he get it off? Like, I don't understand. She goes, I swear to God, he went up with his hand and turned it and detached it with his hand. And the only thing I can think of is that the WD-40 had its time to wiggle in and like release whatever was seized up, because she said he literally turned it with his hand and then fixed the other piece that I had ruined, charged us $200, walked out, and I was described by my wife moments later as an inadequate man.
It's the old pickle jar case. You loosened it up for him, right?
Well,
You've
that's
done all
exactly
the hard
what
work.
I did.
He walks in, here, let me get that for you. And
So then she tells me, she goes, I was actually just following along on the YouTube video, and my next plan was to put the WD-40 on it, let it sit for 20 minutes, just like in the video, and then it would come off. She goes, if you would have come home about 15 minutes later, I would have probably solved this on my own, and we wouldn't have had to call a plumber. So that one hit. Like, that one hurt yesterday. I tried to help, and I made the situation worse.
Well, now you're helping
Maddie's
out the plumber's
biting his
family.
tongue over there.
Yeah,
He's like, I know he wants to chime in. I'm the worst. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I'm the worst. And I'm inadequate, according to the woman I love. All right, if you want to play Kind of Easy Trivia today, the questions are super easy. Let me see here. Yeah, you're going to get it today. We've got a gift certificate to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual. Do we know if YouTube Trev took his date to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual last night? Also, happy birthday to YouTube Trev.
Yes.
Turns 25 years old today.
Big kind of 24, 48 hours for the kid.
For this guy, yeah, big time for YouTube Trev. If you would like to play Kind of Easy Trivia today, I'm not even looking at text. I'm not even looking at chats with the story. I don't even want to see it. I just want it to come clean. I'm inadequate, and we'll move on from there. Gift certificate to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual. Feel free to get in on that. All you have to do right now is text 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999, and let us know you would like to play today and try to win that gift certificate to Mr. Mike's. 3 questions too many coming up. Beer of the week coming up. We might have time to slide in a little P. Greggy from Coolbet as well. Set up the weekend in the National Football League. He'll be joining us on the Lock Shop a little bit later on today as well. But let's get to a sports update with Lieutenant Eric to take us home at the end of hour number 2. Have at her, buddy.
Oilers dropping a tight one to the Stars, 4-3 your final from Rogers Place last night. Sam Gagner, a pair of goals in his return to the squad. Connor Brown, you leave the game due to injury and not return. Oilers welcome the Preds to town tomorrow afternoon at 1. Some breaking news out of the CFL this morning. The Red Blacks have parted ways with offensive coordinator Kahari Jones. Jones spent this past season calling plays in Ottawa, where the Red Blacks finished 4-14. Raptors fall in Philly 114-99 to the Sixers. Raps will visit Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs on Sunday. Steelers improved to 5-3, kicking off Week 9 in the NFL with a 20-16 win over the Titans. Oil Kings back in action this weekend. They will play a pair of games at home, beginning tonight against Moose Jaw and Sunday evening against Medicine Hat. U Sport action this weekend, a jam-packed schedule. U of A Golden Bears men's hockey team. They host the U of S for a pair. Beginning tonight at the Drake, puck drop at 7. The Pandas in Saskatoon to take on the Huskies. Golden Bears and Pandas basketball also hosting the Huskies this weekend. Pandas get it away at 6 tonight, while the Golden Bears are at 8. Both games from the Saville Center, and the Golden Bears football team hosts U of S tomorrow from Footfield in Can West playoff action. Kickoff at 5. Sports update for United Sport and Cycle, supporting hockey in your community for over 95 years.
The Nielson Show, featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
There's sports in my hat?
8:06 on the Nielson Show today. Thank you very much for joining us. If you are listening on the TuneIn app today, how crystal clear is that? Does it get any better? I think not. So thank you very much for joining us there.
Heard your whole washing story, and I know you haven't. It sounds like Dusty booshed it. That's what they're calling it.
I saw that.
You
That's
booshed
hilarious.
it. You booshed it. Some people saying return the truck.
Yeah, I know. I saw somebody say,
Give it,
Dusty, return that
show
truck.
up, throw the keys on Mitch's desk, and just walk out.
I also love Savage the plumber saying, hey, you could have just called me.
Well, actually, this is a good lesson in the AM Nasty and how it all kind of, because Fergie's prostate at the St. Albert Rugby Club needed some help in fixing on the pipes, and Savage the plumber came by, and it was an AM Nasty.
What we need is like maybe inside the Nasty Club, like what everybody does for a job, so you can go get other Nasty Club members. Because Tam right away, when I'm like, we might need to call a plumber. She goes, well, don't you know like a plumber or something? I said, I don't want to call in a favor for this. It's extremely embarrassing. Yeah. As somebody said in the Nasty chat, they said, Dusty, you couldn't have waterboarded this information out of me. Like, no matter what happens, what'd you do to the pipe? I can't say. It's too disappointing. Go
Were
ahead.
you turning it the right way? Are you sure? Because that's what we're getting a lot of questions.
No,
are you sure you were trying to turn it the right way?
I can.
Lefty loosey, righty tighty. Were you going left?
Listen, buddy. I just gave out some of the most embarrassing.
I just want to make sure.
I would have said if I wasn't turning it left.
What's your left hand?
I was. This is my left hand.
Just wanted to confirm.
I was in like this, and I was trying to turn it up and to the left. Even the lady in the YouTube video said, lefty loosey, righty tighty. I said, yes, I know. It's always lefty loosey. It was seized on. These things happen. I was this close to getting my hacksaw and trying to saw through it because I saw that on a video. Luckily, I didn't, and Tam got things taken care of, so that's good. Jim's in it says 15% chance the Oilers make the playoffs as per Elliot Friedman's stats. 4 to 6 points out of the playoffs after November 1st.
We all had the playoff cup wheel last year too, and how I'm not. Yeah, you take your.
I just using November 1st as a barometer. I know we're saying it's not early yet, but to make the playoffs and using November 1st and stats from November 1st, to me, that's probably jumping the gun a little bit. And I spent the entire 6 o'clock hour of the show today ripping on the team, and we're going to come back around to it. We're looking for your suggestions. If they split up 97 and 29, what do you do with the roster? What do you do with the lineup? We'll get into that today. Beer of the week, we'll obviously crush some bevies and probably have a discussion. What does Scott Laurie think they should do? And at this point, maybe we got to listen to him. All right. Who is playing kind of easy trivia today? What do we got? Jay is going to play today. Hey, we actually had Mr. Mike's last night.
What did you have?
Well, you know what? You guys are going to hate this. My parents last night, we were talking. So after after like all the stuff that went down with the washer, it's like 4 o'clock now. And I did have the nerve to go to town. I went up to her at 4 o'clock and I said, well, now that this is fixed, you mind if I go have a little nap? And she actually said to me yesterday, she goes, actually, I would prefer if you went to sleep right now. I was like, perfect. So I ran downstairs, had a nap, got up at 6 o'clock, and what had happened? She ordered Mr. Mike's for dinner. So it worked out extremely well. I ended up having a Mike burger last night, no pickle. It was great. Let's go to Jay. Jay, are you ready to play this morning?
Yes, I am.
All right, here we go, Jay. I'll start the ticker after we read the first question. You need 3 out of 5. Good luck, man. Here we go. Which player scored 2 goals for the Oilers last night?
Sam Gagner.
What position does Scott Wedgwood play?
Goalie.
Which team won the NFL Thursday Nighter?
Pittsburgh.
Which football league begins playoffs this weekend?
CFL.
Which team won the Grey Cup last year?
Doesn't matter.
Boom. 4 out of 5.
Are you kidding me? That's right. Who do you think you are? I am. Get it right.
You can't have a newcomer come in and steal the show.
That's a paddling.
Oh, we've been strong. We're just playing by the rules.
Oh, you better believe that's a paddling.
And I was in Miami with my new beach house. Well, it was a couple minutes from the beach.
That's a paddling.
The first year we took it to the limit. Take it to the limit.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
Congratulations to Jay. He's going to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual, the casualest place ever. Sitting there just waiting for you in the Hampton Inn on the corner of 137th Ave and Mark Messier Trail. If you're looking for a little bit of a road trip, head on out and try the new one in Fort Sask. I'm sure the burgers and salads and French fries and chicken are just as delicious. My parents actually went to Mr. Mike's for their 43rd wedding anniversary in Cranbrook.
Pickle in, pickle out.
I don't know. Never asked. My dad used to always get the soup at Mr. Mike's. He loved the soup.
He's a soup guy?
Yeah, because they'd fill it right to the top. You know, classic old person thing. Like, I love the soup because it's right to the top.
Mr. Mike's, get casual, but don't tell. Right?
Yeah.
Pickle in, pickle out. I'm not telling.
You can text us anytime. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. More time to vent on the Oilers, starting with 2 wins in their first 9 games. And you know what they have done here? And we're going to get into 3 questions right away. But what the Oilers have done here, and I think Belineski or somebody brought it up in the Nasty Chat, it's a great point. They have now eliminated the wiggle room they have for their mid-December, January slump. Like, that's out the window. You've taken the January-December slump, and you've placed it in the month of October into early November. Now you're getting to the point where, I mean, if they win 6 or 7 of their first 20 games, that's a grind the rest of the season to get to some sort of favorable spot. And don't tell me, oh, get into the wild card, baby. But they have to start playing hockey in a way that you can win in the playoffs. And there's no sniff of it right now with this team. In the playoffs, Cody Ceci can't make a horrible decision along the boards. In the playoffs, Broberg won't even be playing. And in the playoffs, Bouchard cannot watch a pass go one way and then just watch the play the rest of the way, not take a stride and have Rupe Hintz go right by him for what would eventually be the game winner.
But I think you can if your power play is clicking and you're outscoring it all.
But
right?
they were that last year, and the power play still wasn't good enough to get that done. You know, like, you would have to have a power play that clicks at 60% to cover up all of the warts that the Oilers have defensively.
Yeah.
When Sam, and once again, I mean, we didn't even get into 3 questions too many yet, but the fact that Sam Gagner yesterday was harder on the puck and showed more effort and drove the net harder than anybody on the team this season for a guy who's 34 years old, coming off double hip surgery, and he's the guy who finally has an effort that you would be proud of. Do you know what that says about the rest of the group? It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for everybody else that the 34-year-old dude who borderline, we don't even know how much of an impact he can have in the league anymore, comes in and make the rest of you look like you're not working hard enough. That's a bad look. Bad look. Let's get into 3 questions too many. Lieutenant Eric, do you have a liner for the segment?
3 questions too many, brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda, including dealer principal Mitch Lewicki, who knows the Oilers are in a tough spot roster-wise, and if they'd like to engage in any trade talks, Mitch's phone is on and open. Park Mazda, your dealer for life. Maybe the trade with the car dealership. Maybe if you can't make a trade, maybe if it's cap-wise, maybe you do something. No, I jest, but yeah. Give Mitch a call. Maybe Ken Ken goes on parkmazda.ca and gets in the chat and gets a little advice on some sort of roster.
I don't even know if Ken's the one calling the shots anymore.
You can't. Hey.
So they've got that going for them too. And as Jay Woodcroft said last night, they had to play 11 forwards because they're so screwed by their own cap management that they can't actually have options like you would want as a contending National Hockey League team. So they're kind of screwed in that port. Like if you're running a short group up front and it's going great, awesome. But when you go through times like this, to not have the ability to insert forward here who otherwise would have been a healthy scratch, that hurts you significantly.
Connor Brown now hurt.
Yeah, and we'll wait and see what happens on that.
Lane Pedersen hurt.
I mean, if you can't LTIR him, then you're screwed even worse. Brent is in and says, as long as Bouchard is in the top 4, his team isn't turning things around. Bouchard is brain dead in his own zone. He did look like his controller ran out of batteries just inside the blue line on the Rupe Hintz goal. Scott Laurie's already here. What an early bird, hey? I like that. That's
keener.
Good. Yeah, a real keener,
keener.
this guy. All right, let's get into 3 questions too many. Oh, actually, do you have a Twitter account, Eric?
That I do. It's at Lieutenant_Eric. You can also follow all of our Edmonton Sports Talk socials on Twitter at YEG. That's YEG Sports Talk. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, the Facebook. Give the Facebook page some love. Give it a like. You can DM us on there as well. You can like and follow. Subscribe on YouTube. Hit the sub. Hit the like. Do it all. Tune in.
Shout out to the definitely on TuneIn.
It's easy.
I haven't checked how many little hearts we have, like how many times our TuneIn feed has been favorited, but I know there's people on there listening, and it's nice.
812.
812.
We're closing in on 1,000 favorites on TuneIn.
What, on TuneIn?
Yeah.
Wow, I thought we were at like 200.
No, it's 812.
Wow, that TuneIn's really working out. That's great news. It's very easy.
Safe to say people have tuned in.
That's exactly what you could say, Eric.
Right? It's just...
by the way, shout out to Birthday Boy YouTube. Trev put together a nice draft video recap yesterday. There's like an extended version on YouTube.
Oh,
yeah. There's like because on Twitter less than 220 or whatever, but on YouTube I think it's like almost a 4-minute video. You can go check it out. Recapping some of our picks, mixed in clips from the movies. The guy's a wizard. All right, question number 1 today. This guy says, boys, this is crazy, but would you play Sam Gagner in the top 6? And it's not as crazy as it should be. Like that should be like an absolutely ludicrous statement.
Well,
but after last night, it's a discussion. And to be honest with you, what is the top 6?
It's a ludicrous statement if you're a cup contender rolling out 4 strong lines each and every night. But for this specific situation where you have, 10 forwards? I think, and I think last night, him demonstrating a bit of a message, I think for Jay Woodcroft, we said, maybe hands tied as far as sitting guys or doing whatever. Maybe this will send a message. Maybe inserting that. I mean, what have you got to lose? Yeah, sure. Top 6, PP1, whatever you want to do. I just think Gagner went out and earned that last night, and I think it would send a message to the room, a continued message going off of last night to say, hey, look, this is what this guy's doing. This is where he's going to play right now. But again, it shouldn't be an option if you're a true Stanley Cup contender and able to roll 4 lines like we saw last night with the Stars and with some other teams in this league. So, yeah, I'd do it, but it's not necessarily a favorable position that you'd want to be in at this point of the season, chasing a cup.
I think you have to split up McDavid and Draisaitl. They're not helping you win as a group 5-on-5 right now. So, see ya. You get the luxury of playing together for only so long if it's working. I think you probably split them up. If Connor Brown was healthy, you'd probably run Nuge, Draisaitl, McDavid down the middle. Like, there's nothing in me that thinks Ryan McLeod needs to be gifted third-line minutes. Tell me why Ryan McLeod should get 14 or 15 minutes right now. I'll wait. We'd be here all day.
His smile?
I'll sit here right through the hangout. We'll just put a camera on me, and I'll sit on the side and keep waiting for somebody to say that Ryan McLeod should continue to be locked in as a third-line center who literally does nothing.
The teeth. When he smiles.
Oh, yeah, because sometimes that must be it.
Well, it's a tough look.
That must be it. What do? You put Kane, McDavid, Hyman, Nuge, Draisaitl, Gagne, Vogel. Like if Brown can't go, like there's what are you supposed to do? If you can't get him on the LTR, you can't. The fact that they cannot have the same roster options as other teams is a significant issue.
Look, if you're getting paid $5 million, you'd probably be able to figure it out, Dusty. So I don't fault you for not being able to sitting here today. That's okay. You're not tasked with that.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Question number 2. Well, we haven't talked about this yet. What's the group present for YouTube Trev for his birthday? A series of gift cards
Maybe
from
some
our wonderful sponsors.
Random beers from Sobeys and Safeway Liquor. Hey,
congratulations, Trev.
Drink up, birthday boy.
I'm going to tell Trev, you know what you're getting? You're getting birthday wishes from big city guys. And Trev be like, wow, this is the best thing ever. Well, make something work for YouTube Trev when Maddie's on the hangout today. We'll find something for the birthday boy YouTube Trev, who I kind of got the night off as a birthday present last night.
He had
so Maddie took the shift for him. I mean,
he had a video Gagne's second goal, I think, and it was him shooting it. And, wow, this is amazing! Like he had the commentary dude, like he was living life, seeing Gagne do what he was doing. But I'm gonna shake it. I'm gonna shake his hand. I'm gonna look him in the eyes.
25th birthday.
Happy birthday, young man! And
you guys remember what was going on at your 25th birthday? Where'd you celebrate your 25th birthday?
I moved here
when you were 25.
2010, 25.
Okay.
2010 was my 25 year. I don't really remember the
I would have been a complete mess in Lethbridge at the time, and probably ended up at the Soundgarden that night. I would think, which probably was an awesome time.
Past 19, it's all
it's all the same.
I can't tell you which.
Maddie, at your 25th birthday, you were like what, 6 years into working at the radio station already? Like,
I started at 18.
So 7 years in.
Yeah. I don't celebrate my birthdays, so like I don't do much for them. I never do. So I
let's change that this year.
We have we not in the past?
We've had a few things. We've had like there was one year Luke brought. We all had a brunch at Druid when it was Druid.
Yes.
Stewart came. Trevor Stewart came, and we had the big table.
Nice.
But Luke was at the head of the table, and he was like holding court, and he was having a great time. No, it's like I've never just celebrated. I don't like celebrating, so.
Belineski's in and says, YouTube Trev's only 25? Good God, I'm old enough to be YouTube Trev's dad, which got me thinking that when I was 25, my mom was my age now. She was 42 when I was 25.
You could be YouTube Trev's
I guess
father.
technically, if I was a frisky 17-year-old like my mother, YouTube Trev could be my son. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's nuts. Question number 3.
And who says you're inadequate? Hey,
Question number 3. Do you guys have any plans for expanding into the afternoon? I love what you're doing.
Personally? Yeah, we could do a soccer pod. Hey, Maddie, you and I.
We can't do
I'm
our show.
good.
Yeah, you sure you don't want to do more stuff, Maddie?
No, the soccer pod right
2
now.
to 6.
I'm good.
Are you going to call it I'm good?
I'm fine right now. I don't need to get into soccer.
Did something bad happen yesterday, too?
No, it's just my team's in shambles. People think the Oilers are in shambles. Manchester United's in shambles.
Are you telling me we should be more concerned about Manchester United than the Edmonton Oilers right now?
He's sweating over Fulham tomorrow.
I'm not sweating. I know it's going to be a draw. That's what's going to happen. We'll be lucky to get a win.
Casemiro out, right? What is it, 2 to 3 weeks?
Cass is out.
Leading scorer, Casemiro.
They're getting Varane back.
Ten Hawk
which
hates him,
should
though,
help.
does he not?
No, him and Martinez, like when they're paired together as the central defenders, like the mid defenders, they are a much better team. And Martinez is going to be out till the new year. It's just a mess. But in terms of an afternoon, like
we can only work so many hours.
Well, it's not even that. We're still not even 2 months into this.
That's a good point.
It's November 6th is when we've been on the air for 2 months. This is going to keep evolving. This is going to keep growing. Who knows what we're going to be like in the new year? Who knows what we're going to be like a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now? Are there plans for an afternoon? We'd love to if that time
that'd be
comes.
Great. We'd love to provide you with content,
but we also,
static free all the way through the day.
But we also want to make sure that what we're providing right now gets fine-tuned and improved upon and get to a level that we're happy at.
Right?
Like I'm still at a level, I'm happy with what we've put out.
But it can be better.
But I know it could be a lot better, and we need to get to getting our 6-1 especially to that level of being better before we really start going.
We do have a list of things that we still want to improve between now and when we wrap every day at 1 o'clock, right? So until we get that sorted out, I think then you kind of look at, okay, well, what's next? It very much is like new smash hit movie, Blackberry.
I gotta see that.
Spoiler alert.
You haven't seen Blackberry?
No, but it sounds like really good.
Dude, it's on my phone. It's one of my phone movies now. And I've watched it probably 4 straight weeks at night while I fall asleep. I used to have the little bit of a thinner BlackBerry. It was the first sort of smartphone I actually had. It was pretty good back in the day. Here's a text that hits. Healthy scratch 97 and 29 for one game. Send a message. Probably not going to happen. And here's why. Like the whole staple somebody to the bench. Okay, like that's a hot take. I get it. They logistically don't have the bodies to healthy scratch people. This roster is so screwed by cap management that you can't send a message to anybody, even the bottom 6 guys, if they have a nothing burger of a night. You can't do it. You don't have other bodies to put in. So even if you were going to healthy scratch somebody right now, you'd have to legitimately run a short roster, which hurts everybody else anyway. You just can't do it. Like they physically cannot scratch people. It's impossible to do. So this is the bed that they've made, and getting out of it has to come from within this group. It just has to happen. I want to see Connor McDavid. No, here, I want to see Leon Draisaitl drive to the net like Sam Gagner. Wait, somebody else messaged today says, Dusty, why does Leon Draisaitl never drive to the net when he comes down the right side? What he does like to do, and sometimes it works, he'll kind of start to drive, and then he'll put the puck between the defender's stick and get a quick shot off. And sometimes that'll work. But I can see what people are saying. Like, Sam Gagner went to the net with a purpose last night. And, like, instantly I think, well, you're probably overreacting a bit. But tell me the games this season when you've seen a ruckus around the net like what Sam Gagner was doing last night. And the answer is not in any of the games prior to last night. So there maybe in some weird, sick way, Sam Gagner rubs off on everybody else. And all of a sudden you've got a team that is putting all of their effort into every single play at both ends of the ice.
Tell with the top 6, stick them on the blue line maybe, hey? Just drop them wherever help is needed.
Yeah. Helicopter
Cure
around,
all,
like,
one all, yeah.
Bodnerchuk says Broberg needs to be sent down. He needs to get some confidence back and playing lots of minutes. And that would at least allow you to get some healthy, like another healthy body up front that you can then insert into said lineup. Joel Spence says that Blackberry movie is the best Canadian film of all time. And I don't have a list of Canadian all-time films, but I think sometimes you can watch a movie and be like, oh, this is kind of Canadian. Blackberry comes across as like just a really, really good movie.
It's the one with Dennis, right, from Always Sunny. And
Dennis from Always Sunny.
It is a movie. It's not
Jim Balsillie.
This isn't like a part series. I thought it was a.
No, it's a movie.
Okay, it's a movie. Okay.
It's a great movie. Okay. Go watch it. It's amazing.
Don't tell me what happens.
Yeah, it's really good. So here's what we learned from yesterday's game. Everybody needs to work as hard as Sam Gagner works and get as greasy as Sam Gagner got in that game. Now, is Sam Gagner going to bring that every single night? I could see why he would have he would have been fired up last night.
The whites in his
but
eyes.
If Sam Gagner can do what he did last night, I don't even care if he scores goals. If he can do what he did last night from an effort perspective, there will be a spot for him in this lineup every single game the rest of the season. And then maybe you do see, I thought Derek Ryan fed off of Sam Gagner a little bit last night. I think Dylan Holloway, at some point, you would like to see him produce. Maybe at some point he gets to play with a highly skilled player because he's been working pretty hard so far this year. Guys, McLeod and Bouchard wanted more money, so they need to be able to raise their game and play to a higher level. Guys, we're going to see McLeod or Fogle get traded for 2 league minimum players. I don't know. Like, there's not I would be surprised, but I highly doubt there's a trade coming to get them out of this early season funk. They should have the team to at least be a team that you would say is still going to possibly do some damage in the playoffs. I did see one thing last night on the postgame show, or maybe it was in like the inbox in the postgame show, and it kind of just made me think because a couple years ago in that Battle of Alberta, when Calgary had like a pretty good thing going, Johnny Gaudreau and Tkachuk, and then the Oilers beat them, and McDavid had that goal, and he's sliding, and everything's great. People said the Oilers killed the Calgary Flames. Like the Oilers took what Calgary was building, and in that series, killed them moving forward. And I did see somebody yesterday claim that Vegas has killed the Oilers. And the Oilers were reacting so much to what happened in that series against Vegas that they've lost who they are. You know what I mean?
Are they reacting, though? Or do we see a roster that's
Well,
reacted
they
to
changed
to
their
how they lost to
defensive
Vegas?
system
but
because of what happened against
you're
Vegas.
Still, look, we're in a situation where you want to go 10 forwards, you want to bench 2 guys, go to 8 forwards. Like, you're still not. We talked about Vegas rolling out 4 lines. I mean, I know that's one part of it, but they're not the depth that we've seen from these teams that are actually competing. It's not even close to there. You're playing with almost half of the forward group that they have. So, an interesting theory though. That could have been something. But I also like, and talking about Gagner last night could be a turning point as well. They lost by a goal. If he goes out there, scores 2, and now this team wakes up and I mean, again, I know it's too bad that they do have the Predators tomorrow because it's this, if they beat them by, even if they beat them by 20 goals, it's going to be fool's gold, lack of a better term. But maybe Gagner, maybe last night, again, it's 1 goal. They're putting pressure on late. You get to overtime, who knows? But again, what he said, you have to collect points now. That's all that matters. But it's not just a switch, and you don't flick it and turn things back on. I'm taking a little bit of encouragement out of last night, just given the fact
you really are. I'm proud of you, buddy, for that.
Well, because last Thursday was like that was crap, and again, leading off Sunday, you're like, well, where are they going to be 3 or 4 days later? And I know that you mentioned, and there's good points. The Stars, busy week for them, but they're a really good team and they're playing good hockey. So these are 2 different teams playing different games right now, and the good team finds a way to come out of a game with a 1-goal win, being outshot, 2-1 or whatever it is. I think they can, but it's the roster again. You get 10, and the Connor Brown injury now. What do you like? I don't know what you do.
It's weird because he hasn't done much, but at the same time, it puts you in a jam.
But he hasn't done much. But you could also say that you could also argue that he's been. Eventually, it's going to come. Right now, you take him off. He's coming back from the surgeries and the injury that he had. Now you've totally all of that good time that he's put in now.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that plays out.
He's going on LTIR, guaranteed.
Well,
yeah, no matter what, eh?
Even if they think it's going to be like a week and a half, they're going to take the cap relief. They're going to take the ability to bring up a body.
Have to.
And they're going to take this a little extra. He's guaranteed going on LTIR.
Podcast Xavier texts in and says, I agree with LT in the sense that if the Oilers were like 500 or 600, this loss to Dallas would be viewed differently. I'm optimistic with a lower O with Lieutenant Eric.
You can talk out of both sides of your mouth here, and that's just it. If they did have a better start, Dallas is a good team. And I was saying going in last night, I'm not really expecting a win, but I do want to see better. I don't want to see a shutout. I don't want to see – but we are seeing still the same stuff. Defensive mistakes. You get another injury. Now the depth is an issue again. And look, I'm not going to bring goaltending into this as well, but the numbers for both of these guys in high danger scenarios, right, are not good.
Well, but I think
I'm not laying blame here, but there are a lot of issues right now, and to kind of point at one, you point at one, and then the other one starts to flame up, and you go address that. And
this text message here says, "Morning guys, first time texting the new show. Thank you. They don't have a goalie. They're ranked 55 and 61 in save percentage. And if you want to use the save percentage argument, I think last night in the post-game show, some people are like, look at Skinner's save percentage tonight. Okay, well, you're going to blame last night's game on Stuart Skinner? No. Did you see the mistakes this team made? You can't put last night's game on Stuart Skinner's save percentage. That's irresponsible. That doesn't make any sense.
But just last night, but this season, this young season as it is as a whole is a concern. It's one of, right? But the defense, again, putting opposition players in positions to have those high-danger chances, and as many as they're getting. Yeah, you'd like to maybe see a save once in a while, but then you can't lay it on their feet when the guys in front of them are making the errors to create those chances. It's all this big house of cards domino effect here, right?
Yeah.
You don't have and last year, too, the power play kind of masked everything. As long as they're scoring, they're getting power play opportunities, the world's fine. Once you turn that tap off, right? Lefty loosey, righty tighty.
Yeah.
But now everything else is risen to the top, and you see it all.
I'll say this about Stuart Skinner's save percentage. He has a .308 save percentage for high-danger unblocked shot attempts.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, there's a high-danger unblocked shot attempt save percentage.
Okay.
He's at a .3. Jack Campbell's a .643.
Okay, so last night...
Jack Campbell ranked 67 of 69 NHL goalies with his high-danger chance save percentage.
Skinner or Campbell?
Skinner, sorry.
Okay, so... Last night, technically, say how you describe that again.
High danger, unblocked shot attempt.
So the Rupe Hintz one last night would count in that category. And how's he supposed to make that save? You know what I mean?
I think the difference is the Oilers never get that save. It seems other teams somehow have that miraculous save. That save, you go, how did he make that? Incredible. The Oilers don't get
Jack
that.
Campbell's done that this year. Jack Campbell's made a bunch of saves when we're like, oh my God. Jack Campbell had a whole period where he made 9 of those saves. I think we're always just looking at the goaltending when Cody Ceci doesn't understand when he should pinch, Philip Broberg can't handle the puck, and Evan Bouchard's legs don't move off the ice when he gets inside his own zone. I mean, you want a goalie to stand on your head? Sure. We talked a little bit earlier about Jay Woodcroft saying that Sam Gagner was kind of the next man up. But Sam Gagner should have been on the ice.
Should have been the man up, right? The man up.
Sam Gagner should have been on the ice at the end of that game. I don't care who do you take off? Who cares? Who cares who you take off? You've won 2 of your first 8 games at that point. Take anybody off. Gagner was at least trying to stir things up last night. D says, is it time to give Campbell a couple starts? Start them both. It doesn't matter if you're going to keep making huge, stupid mistakes.
I don't want to turn this into a goalie thing or anything, but I just, there's lots of, tough to ignore those numbers, but those numbers are created in part by the defense in front of them, I get. And,
exactly.
And the defense in front of them is created too by the lack of scoring the production in front of them.
I also have spontaneous beef. I got a spontaneous beef this morning.
Beef.
Give me some spontaneous beef. Give me we need to have a small pack of bologna
bite
around,
my
where
hand.
I'm like, give me some of that.
Bite my
I got no time for they got goalied again. What are you supposed to do? They got goalied. Well, then you know how you stop getting goalied? You stop taking shots from the perimeter to increase your shot total, and you get to the net like Sam Gagner and refuse to be goalied. Teams who get goalied aren't going to the net hard enough. It's as simple as that. What brilliant save did Wedgwood make yesterday? What was the brilliant, oh my God, can you believe he stopped that save? Or did he just make 47 really steady saves?
Well, you could argue he let him some soft ones.
You could do that
honest
too.
to God,
Yeah.
Both teams made mistakes last night. It's just one team right now is better. And when you're making mistakes and you're good, you tend to find yourself on the right side of the coin. You run that game again?
Yeah.
That's why I'm just. It's not. It's bad because of the situation they're in. You need points. L's don't. As you say, there's no morality, no moral, none of that.
All right, should we have a drink? Let's make the switcheroo. Here we go. We've got 1 minute and 16 seconds to set up Sobeys and Safeway Liquor Beer of the Week. Let's do it.
Sobeys and Safeway Liquor Beer of the Week on the Nielson Show, only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
$45 seconds. All right, we made it again. Boy, is this an efficient crew. Also, shout out to Matt Cassie and slide into the nasty chat today and saying Stuart Skinner really struggles with backdoor tap-ins. You know, like, it's just, I don't know if you were to look at, like, how many times do the Oilers, like, we got to get to Sobeys and Safeway Liquor Beer of the Week. I want to get back to ranting on, like, give me the time that an Oiler was allowed to walk in on a 3-on-2 right down the middle like Rupe Hintz last night. Just show me an example of a team allowing an Oilers player to do that. And while you find that, we will have some beers, Sobeys and Safeway Liquor Beer of the Week, which is available as a podcast every single week as well. If you hate the rest of our show, but you just really like Sobeys and Safeway Liquor Beer of the Week, make sure you subscribe to that podcast. You can go to EdmontonSportsTalk.com, find the page, and sub there. You'll be able to watch it exclusively on YouTube as well. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm good. I didn't think it was good. I didn't think it was that bad. I'm kind of leaning towards where Eric was. Like I watched the game. There was points where they were,
but doesn't it be polarizing?
No.
You're not singing Sunshine. Oh, and they're
No,
back.
there
Here we
was
go.
moments they weren't great.
They lost the game.
Yeah, but if that was last year, kind of mid-season, you would be like, good game. It was exciting. Crowd was great. And you would have moved on, but it's because they lost a bunch of games early.
They've only won 2 of their first 9, right?
But I thought it was promising. I thought they played better than they had in the first few games where they were terrible. Dallas is good.
Dallas is good. But they were playing their third game in 4 nights, and the Oilers hadn't played since Sunday.
I think that's part of it. I think they haven't played enough.
And you have double the forward group as well. That kind of helps when you're playing 3 and 4 nights or whatever.
Down. Yeah, no, I think they're kind of sitting there waiting to play, and they're thinking how bad they are, and then they play. Like, they got to get a few games on the road. They got to get going here. They got to get a few games in a row, play some games, play like they did last night. They're going to win more than they're going to lose if they play like last night.
Nothing against that Nashville game, but I'm really excited for the Vancouver game.
Oh yeah,
yeah, like that one should be nasty.
Yeah,
yeah. I could see Sam Gagner beating Elias Pettersson to a pulp just to send a message to get the team on track. You know,
how good is Sam? Like, seriously,
it's like
crazy.
To me, it's awesome, but still so concerning at the same time that Sam Gagner looked like the hardest working Oiler of the season in his first game, because nobody else wants to go to the net. Like, Sam Gagner went to the net hard last night, more than Ryan McLeod has his entire career, and I don't even think that's an exageggation. So what are we drinking?
I don't
today,
think you're
buddy?
wrong. Okay, I feel like 4 Dogs. Like I feel like I know we're drinking 4 Dogs Brewing, and there's a whole bunch of.
This was named after the Oilers' top 4 in the blue line.
Exactly. Yeah, or the defensive. The 4 defensemen. No, we're going 4 Dogs Brewing. We have tasted these guys out of Calgary before. When we tasted them last time, they were contract brewing. So a lot of these brewers, when they start out, they brew out of somewhere else. They don't have the amount of money to get brick and mortar tap rooms. So they brew. They have their own recipes and they brew somewhere else. That's what these guys were doing last time we tasted them. Now they've got their own beautiful new tap room. So we're gonna taste them again. It's $13.99 for a 4-pack of Tall Boys. All these beers have a really cool story about one of their 4 dogs.
I was going to say, they actually just have pictures of dogs on the can.
Yeah, they have pictures of dogs on the can.
Isn't that great?
Isn't that awesome?
How can you resist? You go into a shop, you see a dog on a can.
It's like a beautiful dog. They're all rescue dogs. Like there's a $1 from each of the 4-packs of the Presley Pale Ale goes to the animal rescue. It's just a great story. If you love animals, you love dogs, you're going to love these stories, which we've talked about a bunch of times. The story's important with the beer, but the beer's got to be good. So we're going to try the beer of the week is the Presley, which is the seasonal pale ale. So they rotate through some of the recipes with these ones. So we're going to taste that one. We've got a German Pointer Pilsner Fridays, and then we've got a Rhodesian Red Ale as well that we'll try.
Okay.
Which, we've done a few red ales recently. Kind of that malty sweetness, really nice beers. But let's start with the Presley.
Okay.
This one here.
This is going to taste good this morning.
For sure it is.
Yeah, it just is. It's just
that mouth is on fire. Like you need to put
I've
that thing
just
out. It's
been-
a 5 alarm.
Where
like, you
is
need
the
to
hot takes?
Douse
in
it. Douse
Like,
it. Douse it.
I should just get it today after the show.
Just wear it all show.
Yeah.
It's
I
like
should. You know what? I'm on fire today. I do like. This smells really good.
Yeah, 5.2% multi-body, little dry hop finish. It's this one here again, 5.2%. Presley, great story with it. Again, money goes towards animal rescue, and they rotate this flavoring. So this is a really nice pale ale.
All right, a cheers to Sam Gagne.
Sam
Gagne is back on the
Super
Oilers
Sam.
and
Cheers.
possibly the key to turning their entire season around.
And that's what you're saying all summer, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was like the final piece.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just Sam. That's
Just
all
Sam,
we need.
yeah.
That's
Bring
all we
in
need.
Sam.
Man, that's really
Fine,
smooth.
yeah.
It's a really nice beer. So you even get you get a little bit of citrus through it.
There is a little bit, yeah.
You get a little bit of tang. Kind of the palate starts to activate at the back of your back.
Tang,
Yeah, a
that's
little
a
bit
good
of
descriptor,
tang.
yeah.
Again, really nice. That's the Presley. That is the beer of the week. $13.99 from
For a
4
4-pack,
Dogs.
tall boys.
4-pack, great price for these ones. So so now let's do the Fridays. I think we've tasted this one before. You can see nice clear. This is a German style Pilsner, 4.7%, so lower on the alcohol.
It's like a clear foggy. Hey, like it's if that makes any sense.
Frye's German Pilsner, is this what it is?
Frye's, yeah, exactly.
Don't encourage Tommy Gazzola, buddy. Like,
So nice light German style pill, approachable lager style beer, soft, clean, crisp, a little bit of zest to the finish. This is your, if there's one that's more approachable than the other, that's going to be this one.
a cheers to YouTube Trev on his
birthday.
25th
Happy
birthday.
birthday.
Hey, YouTube Trev. Hopefully your date went really well last night.
Ooh,
Were you working at
Easy
Sobeys
boy,
when you were
good boy.
25?
Oh yeah.
At the grocery store?
Or
Or were you already like?
No, I was already with liquor at that point.
Jeez, look at you,
Yeah,
real young go-getter.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's hard to tell. Again, I've worked 2 years not for Sobeys and Safeway. Since I was 16.
Wow,
it's crazy.
You've been in the arena for.
So you worked at
Yeah.
you worked there.
Yeah.
You worked at the grocery store in high school.
Oh yeah.
That's
My mom.
what I did too.
My mom's a 29-year Safeway.
To the high school
employee.
grocery.
Hey, well,
biz,
cheers.
eh?
Well, cheers.
Okay,
on it.
Okay, let's do
cheers
the
on it.
Rhodesian. Let's do.
So you're like a Sobeys legacy guy.
Yeah.
Hey, like, that's nice.
Produce is it?
Produce, yeah, and then I worked in the warehouse
out of
picking
here.
orders for
yeah.
university.
Okay, yeah.
Produce boys.
Yeah, Produce
love it,
boys,
just,
yeah.
Produce boys.
Yeah.
Safeway, Thickwood, Fort McMurray.
Yeah.
You worked in Fort Mac?
I grew up in Fort Mac.
What the hell?
We moved to Fort Mac from Scotland in 1979.
Did I know that already?
I don't know.
I
don't
wow.
know. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah,
what a
Mac.
morning.
Fort Mac. There
First
you go.
time Gagne, now this? This is unbelievable.
Okay, so let's go with the red ale. So 5.2%. This is the Sasha's Rhodesian Ridgeback Red Ale. Again, red ale, malty, sweet, delicious, clean finish. I'm starting to really come around on red ales this year. I don't know
Okay.
what-
Welcome to the club.
I know. So it really.
Why
nice
now?
balance.
What do you think that is?
I think just palates change.
You're
I-
maturing.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be. I could be just getting. I think when you drink one style all the time, you need to break it off a little
Mix
bit.
it up
right?
a
like
bit.
mix it up a little bit. And I think it's winter. It's cool.
It's a nice fall drink.
It's a nice
yeah,
fall
it's the-
drink. Yeah, and it's got a very different flavor profile than your IPA and your pale ale. Right. This
Okay.
is more malty, a little bit more. Less tropical, that kind of flavoring. So really coming around to red ales.
All right, well, let's do a cheers to working high school produce.
Yes, boy.
God, that's
Cheers.
real nice.
Builds real men.
Huge pour, by the way. Holy smokes.
It's good beer. It's a really nice beer. When you
that's smooth.
It's not as red ale-ish
Nope.
as I was expecting it to be.
Nope, it's a little bit. I would say this one's it's got a little more sweetness rather than maltiness. And
Yeah.
that's the joy of beer making, where they can really tailor the beer one way or the other and play with the flavoring. It doesn't all have to be. None of them taste the same. And this one I would say is more sweeter than maltier.
It tastes like the holidays.
Yeah.
Christmas, I don't know, but just this season.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
That one did.
The post-Halloween venture into the new year.
It was an interesting vibe around here yesterday. It was like a little chilly, and the one light was off. It was dark, and I was. What time was it? It was like 10 o'clock in the morning. I was like, "When I was spiced rum and Diet Coke."
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, why not? So I just had a little spiced rum and diet.
Get your little blanket.
Kind of curled up, and it was great.
It's that season. It's that season where you like you guys have been talking about getting away with having a little bit of cream liqueur in their coffee, maybe.
Yeah. Do you set that up at a certain deadline? Like Maddie said, when radio stations start playing Christmas music, then he starts drinking in the morning.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I don't really have a date. I mean, I'm fairly, year-round drinking in the morning.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I like just a little bit of cream liqueur in my coffee.
Just a little bit.
Just a touch. Or else, you can't taste the coffee.
When are you bringing in? Oh, you don't have a mic right now.
Yeah.
I was going to say, when are we going to bring in the Baileys so I can try this Baileys and latte?
Oh, we can go Monday if
next
you want.
week, Monday? Monday, okay, let's do it.
I gotta get. Have you tried the Gretzky cream liqueur?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I'll
That's a game now too. That's expanded. I mean, people are making that stuff.
Is it a great one?
It's a great one.
Does he brand it that way?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, probably.
Owen's a great one.
Yeah.
I'll bring that in. You guys can taste that one.
That'll be nice.
It's delicious.
Is it?
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good.
Wayne Gretzky's done it again, eh?
Yeah, everything he does. Magic.
Just insane.
Midas touch. Yeah.
That's why Tommy works Gretzky hockey schools.
Yeah.
In the off season,
Hoping to get a bit of rub off.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's right.
So we only had 3 today. I like all 3 of these ones. Just a really nice mix there. You're taking that Rhodesian, the pale ale.
The Presleys for me for sure.
The Presleys and the
this
Fridays.
Seasonal pale ale is delicious. I love it.
Yeah. And then there's the Pilsner. So $13.99 for 4 dogs. If you're in Calgary, go check out their new tap room.
So they do have the tap room.
They got a new tap room now.
Are there dogs running around the tap room?
I would imagine there has to be.
Pet friendly.
Most breweries, it's funny. Most breweries you go into are pet friendly, child friendly. You go and they want it to be more
loose atmosphere. Yeah,
it is a bit of a family atmosphere.
Welcoming,
These, exactly that. They want guys in there to be relaxed, to be like home, right? So, I'm sure there's dogs running around at all times in this place.
Yeah, there has to be. If not, it's false advertising.
Mandated.
Really,
We need 3
I
at
mean,
least
technically
on
there
the
should be
floor.
4. There should be 4.
Hired and paid. Yeah.
Barnesy just rolls in here. He's just gonna walk right in. All right. Barnesy, how are you, buddy? Good to see you. We don't have security, man. He's going to be on the Hangout today, so make sure you stick around for that. And Cheese is coming in, right? You know the movie that's from, right? Cheese.
No idea.
What, are you serious?
It's a popular movie, but I don't really, it's not one of the more popular lines. Like Earmuffs.
Okay. Earmuffs.
Do you know that one?
Have you never seen the movie Old School?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen it.
The Dean. They used to call him Cheese.
Listen, I've seen I don't remember movies. It's not something that sticks in my brain.
It's a weird thing to say.
I know. No,
Huh.
I like movies. I enjoy movies. I watch movies all the time.
But you don't remember them.
I don't
You
remember
don't keep
them.
that wrong
It's like
memory.
song
Yeah,
names.
yeah,
I can't remember any
I'm kind of
song
jealous because
name.
if you don't remember, you could watch them again. It would be like the first time.
For sure.
But it was Piven. Piven was the Dean, correct?
Yeah, Jeremy Piven. Yeah, even Maddie's knocking out Old School over there.
And now you say Old School. Now I remember the scene of Earmuffs in the kitchen.
Yeah.
It all starts to come back to me.
Right.
But
Yeah.
the recall? Nah, it's not there.
Wow.
Years of
That blows my mind.
too much soccer head.
That blows my mind.